tip-off.
Come on, won't you say it loud? Ayo, we gon' turn this out. Tom Clock's main event. Dropkick now and powerbomb. Ayo, bro, let's bring this on. Hey, hey, wide is up. Oh, captain, my captain, show the stuff. Power slammer, suplex 2. Hot bitches just for you. Big breaker, cut a code red. Figure 4, hot times ahead. Since 2014, it's on. It's a 10 count, but stand up strong. Hey kid, no DQ, strong style. Chop, this is how it do. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event.
Hey, what's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. Tom Clark here, back here with you yet again. I'll get it. On another Friday. Happy Friday to you. Hope you guys are doing great out there. How's your week been? Hope everything's going well. Apologies for the box. I'm the man in the box. You understand? Where's my Alice in Chains fans at? I'm the man in the box. So all my podcasting gear, my entire rig is back in my home office now. And because of that, my green screen that I bought for such a purpose is not long enough. So I'm going to have to roll with the punches, as they say, and just get this figured out at a later time. But you know what? We're going to make do. We're going to roll with it. We're going to do what we do. You know how we do. We do what we do. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out. Again, hope you've had a great week. We got a big show to get here to today. We're going to be reviewing AEW Forbidden Door. And again, thanks everybody for hanging on and for checking us out this week. We got a special guest on deck, and we got a few folks coming in right now. David Down Under was the first fella here live in Australia. Thank you, Dave, for hanging out with us. Myself and my family are doing well. Hope you are. Fernando, good to see you. JP, what's up, my friend? Chad, too bad. What's going on, dude? Good to see you. Yeah, I am the man in the box. Now I kind of feel like I need to keep it because now it's kind of catchy. I probably won't keep it. I had to get like a 7-foot or maybe an 8-foot green screen. Huge, man. This huge. Yeah. StreamYard's capabilities are not, I won't get into it. Anyway, we got a big show. Again, we got to talk to you about here today. Loads of stuff to go over. Before we go any further, kids, if you will, smash the like button for me and share this on your feed. All of the podcasts from Boink Studios have shared this on their respective Facebook pages. So I very much appreciate it if you would do the same. And, of course, share it with your friends, family, loved ones. Let them know that Tom Clark and company are live on the air. Folks, let's go ahead and welcome him to the show. You know him from the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. You also know him from Bear Mode, a podcast review of the Bear. Everyone, please welcome Big Tasty. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yo, talk about making do.
Not at all, man. Not at all. I'm so glad you could join me, man. Not only because you and I get to record together again, but also because you were there at the Forbidden Door. So we're going to get first-person perspective on how the show went, what you thought about it, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, thanks again for hanging out, man.
No, it's been really interesting to see like how things came across on TV versus how they came across like in the arena.
Yeah, for sure. That, and you know, we've often said here on the show, Tasty, that you can't always judge what you see and hear on pay-per-view or on television because the sound isn't always right, and if the crowd's not mic'd properly or whatever, and you'll be home going, that match was dead, but it's not really the case.
I think especially in like, you know, the sort of the big outdoor arena shows, I think a lot of people were saying it All In. The crowd felt very flat and like very quiet, but then people who were at the show were saying, no, we were hot for everything. It just, obviously there's no roof, so the sound just disappears.
Just goes up. Yeah, the sound just goes up for sure.
One of the, I want to talk just before we get into the show. Before we'll do the intros, I want to talk about like because I've been to Wembley for All In the last 2 years, and this is the first time we've had an indoor AEW pay-per-view.
That's right.
So the differences there in the venues and the way it was set up, because there were a lot of differences that I did appreciate a lot.
I'm sure. So. Not the least of which is the weather, of course. You didn't have to sweat
Yeah,
buckets
we are in England where rain is the sort of standard weather that we have most of the year. So, although it was actually really hot this weekend, which also, so the O2 is air conditioned, and Wembley Stadium is not; it's outdoors. So that was one massive improvement. But it also wasn't like because at Wembley, like it starts at 6 p.m. and I don't know if you've ever been to the UK, Tom, but by about 9, regardless of how hot it's been in the day, it's cold because we're not a warm country. So you go to Wembley, you get there like sort of 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like 28 degrees. You're in your shorts, your t-shirt. You're having a good time. You maybe have a little beer. And then by the time it gets to like 8-9 o'clock, the main event's rolling around. The sun's gone in. It's about 12 degrees. It's like, sorry, I'm using UK measurements here. You'll have to.
I get you.
You'll have to figure it out. And you are just really because you've been sat still for like 5 hours. You're just really cold. You haven't moved. If like me, you're 37 years old and your knees hurt. You've got some cramp going on, and it's like. But no, this was great. I will say, I don't think they'll. Unfortunately, I think that obviously they're going back to Wembley next year for All In again. But I think the setup, I don't know how it came across on TV, but the setup of the arena and the stage and everything for the show, I thought was so much cooler than Wembley.
Yeah, I'm watching it again right now. It's a lot more intimate than Wembley, of course. Wembley was 80,000 people, I guess, or whatever the number was.
80, debatably 80,000 the first year, about 37,000 the second year.
Yeah. So
we got
just under
8, apparently just over 18 this year. So
right, that's true.
But I loved the way they had, like, they didn't have a big screen. The screen was up above the crowd, and so they had people behind the entrance, which was really cool. Those seats were super cheap as well. They were like £30, which when you look at what other companies are charging for house shows at the moment, that's a screaming deal. I think we paid about 100 for ours, and we were like, I was so close. We were on the first. If you're looking at we were on the first like tiered row of seating. And I could see the ring so clearly that I didn't need to look at the screens.
Nice. That it's so cool sometimes. Like you're looking at a grid on a computer screen to determine where your seats are, and you're like, I think it's all right. Then you get there in correlation to the ring, you're like, oh my God, we have great seats. Like I've done that so many times over the years. It's crazy.
We were really lucky.
I do like the video wall. Go ahead.
Like I said, we were really lucky. Like we were like really central. We were like facing the entrance ramp, like right in the middle. Really, really good seats. Jay was sat all the time. Guest Jay was sat next to me, and then sat next to him was a guy who owned a small wrestling promotion in Germany.
Oh, that's very cool.
So they were just nerding out about all sorts all the way through, which was really good fun.
That's very cool. I do like the video wall as the guys came out. It's a very New Japan thing to have a video wall because I think one of the buildings they run in Japan, the setup there kind of prohibits a screen. So they're stuck, because Japan likes to do that monster stage, but I forget what venue it is. They'll run that video wall as the guys come down. I actually really like that.
They did that at the first All In because the first All In they used like the player tunnel, the football player tunnel as the entrance, and they had like a video tunnel. Because remember there was that awesome shot of like Juice Robinson like on his hands and knees barking when the bang bang bang. It was really cool. And then next year they did like a more traditional stage, which wasn't quite as unique. But then they've gone back to, like I say, they have to be a bit more. If I'm looking over to my right, it's because Sarah's got it on the TV. She's watching the replay, which has just started. So if I need to reference something, I'll just quickly glance to my right and I'll see it there. But no, it was a bit of a challenge for them, and like they were able to fit an extra, like I think it's extra 500 seats in behind it, which was really cool. And it meant that there was no like topped off section where like the production area was, which was really awesome. So you had like a full 360 of fans like all the way around, which it felt amazing. Like they say the sound, because there were less fans, but because there was a roof on top, like everything just bounced back down, and the atmosphere was fantastic. It felt like the crowd were hot pretty much all night.
Yeah, AEW shows are long. We know that. They're historically always long. But like I didn't feel fatigued. And of course I wasn't there. I didn't feel fatigued watching it. I felt like everything ran on good time, man. Did you guys get that feeling as you were there?
Yeah, so talking a bit about timing, before we go into the matches, only the main event and the unsanctioned cage match went over 17 minutes. Everything else was 17 to 13 minutes.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
So it really zipped. The show really zipped. So we got in. By the time we got to our seats, it was like just before 4:30. Show finished at 10:30, just after 10 or 10:38, I think it finished. Which, to give you an idea, the O2 has a strict curfew of 10:30, and for every minute you go over, you get fined £10,000.
Why?
Because it's the people have to make connections and trains, and they have like noise dispersal laws and stuff like
Oh,
that. So it cost
I
Tony
see.
Khan £80,000 to run that show, just in fines that he got for going over by 8 minutes.
Wow, dude. Yeah, because I'm looking at the times. You're right. I mean, the shortest match was the Ops. That was 7:20, and the longest match was the main event, 32:30. Yeah, nothing dragged on forever. And look, sometimes matches require long, you know, long time slots. But like, there's something to be said, man, about getting in, doing your stuff, and getting out. Do you know what I
Yep,
mean?
and I'll
So,
tell you, Tom, I did not leave my seat the entire time I was there.
oh wow, cool.
Jay went and got me a drink because he went and got like a couple of beers, and Jay went and got me a soda, and I had some gum, and like that was it. Like I didn't even think about going to get a hot dog or going to get some popcorn or going to get a beer, because it was just, the pace was just so electric, and so like the cadence of the matches were just really bouncing. Every time you were like, right, I'll go after this match, I'll maybe go to the bathroom or maybe go get a hot dog, and it was like, oh no, but Mercedes is coming out now and I don't want to miss Mercedes entrance, so here's Mercedes. And it's like, it was, and like, oh my god, no, it's Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel, I can't miss this.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Fernando's got a good point. Hopefully, every AEW pay-per-view has this pace going forward. I don't know if they'll go back to it, man. I think, to Tasty's point, they did these shorter matches because of the time restraints of the O2.
But
So
I think they put the time where they needed it, like on
true.
the matches that needed it to tell the stories. Like a lot of
I
these
agree.
matches, they could just get in, get out, have a good 15. They packed them in, like they packed the action in. Didn't there was no, but maybe one match we'll talk about, I was left going, could have maybe wanted an extra 5 minutes there, but everything else was like bang bang in out, superb.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Well, let's go ahead and get to it, kids. We're going to go ahead and start reviewing the show here. And as we said before, this AEW Forbidden Door review for the show that just happened this past weekend. So hopefully you guys are ready to roll. We had 4 matches, not on the main card. We had Paragon of Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, along with El Desperado and Yuya Uemura, defeating Crew, Action Andretti, and Leo Rush, and the Dawn Callis family of Hechicero and Josh Alexander, with Lance Archer and Rock Romero by pinfall in an 8-man tag. They got in, did their stuff, got out. Tasty, it's always great to see El Desperado on U.S. soil. All right, sorry. On UK soil, how about that? It's great to see him when he's not in New Japan. It feels special. It feels like an event, kind of like when Suzuki would show up. To me, anyway, Desperado appearing somewhere else feels like an event. What'd you think about?
He got
this?
a big pop on his entrance as well. Like everyone was real happy to see him. He did. Hechicero is possibly the most over non-AEW wrestler in AEW.
Yeah,
like
dude.
the UK crowd loves Hechicero. We saw him at Rev Pro the 2 nights before Forbidden Door. He was great there. He just you don't realize till you see him live. He's just got so much charisma. He's got so much style. He's just cool, man. Like when you see a wrestler, like, damn, that man's cool.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. He and Despy both are. Despy, if you didn't know anything about him, like you'd see him from a distance, you're like, what's. But then when he starts working, you're like, oh my God, the guy has swagger. Hechicero has it too. Just swagger and confidence that, that only comes with time and experience. I mean, there's very few people who have it. Like Kurt Angle had it from the jump. A couple other guys that maybe had it very early.
Taz had it.
Taz had it, yeah. Some guys have it very early, and other people just have to kind of find it if they do at all. But yeah, I enjoyed this match.
And give Despy his credit. Like, he worked this match, and then he went straight to commentary and commentated the whole show in Japanese.
That's true. Oh my God. So the bit where in the steel cage when the main event happened, the commentators were like, he can't move, he can't get out of the way. Because to me, it felt like Despy was just sitting there and was going to take these guys crashing into him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it felt. So I don't know if that's true or not. I assume he's fine. But when that spot happened, I was like, God, he's not hurt, is he?
Because it was tight when that cage came down. We'll talk about it when we get there, but it was tight around the ring. Like, they had a big cage.
They did. They did. I mean, a Hell in a Cell setup probably wouldn't have been what they'd wanted to do, but like, maybe for next time they shrink those 4 walls a little bit. bring
Well, I
that
think
thing in a
because
little
it
bit
was 10
tighter.
men, they were trying to do like blood and guts, but without the two rings, because obviously they couldn't have the two rings there for the whole show because it'd be ridiculous and it'd make the show weird.
Yeah.
But they wanted like they had like the blood and guts like sized cage with like the massive like because the guys got like fight on the outside because you couldn't have all 10 guys in the ring at once, can you? Because Tanahashi's got
Yeah.
to lie down for a bit to save his knees.
Oh, that's true. God bless Tanahashi. I'm just saying. I can't wait to get there. Like I said, it was a good way to kick off the show. Let's talk about Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Liona with Ricochet defeating Jet Speed of Kevin Knight, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Michael Oku. Michael Oku got a nice little pop when he came out as well.
He got a very concerned pop when he face planted the floor as well with that spot.
Fair. Yeah.
So I saw Michael Oku both Red Pro shows as well. So it's the third. I saw him 3 nights in a row. The first night he was in a 10-man tag match. It was Tanahashi's last sanctioned UK match because this one wasn't. So it was really sweet though. It was Tanahashi and Shibata on the same team, which was really cool. And they had a big hug afterwards, and everyone did a little bit. Everyone got a little teary-eyed.
Nice.
So it was Speedball, Oku, Tanahashi, Shibata, and someone else who I've forgotten. But yeah, it was a great match. So on that match, Hechicero threw him face first into a steel chair, and he just hit it with his face.
Wow.
Yeah. Then the next night, I saw him have a match with Leon Slater, where he did just a number of horrendous bumps. He did like a front flip off the turnbuckle onto the apron and just bounced off it and like landed on the floor. And then this one, he goes for the Fosbury flop, which is like one of his signature moves, and he just gets fully thrown like and lands like on his like spine, basically. Yeah, apparently he's okay because he's got that Darby Allin quality where he's just like made of rubber and he just doesn't get hurt.
Darby, my God, we'll get there when we get there. But holy Lord, I was legit concerned about Darby. I'm concerned about Darby every time. You know what I mean? Every time the guy works.
But yeah, Michael Oku, he had a hell of a weekend. He had a hell of a show in here. He got a huge pop, like you say, off the London crowd. He's probably one of the prominent British wrestlers on the British scene at the moment. There were big rumours a year or so ago that he was going to sign with AEW, and he didn't. I don't know whether it's visa issues. I don't know whether they haven't got a spot for him. I don't know whether they want because his partner also wrestles Amira. She's his valet. Don't know whether they didn't have a role for her and they wanted to go together, or I don't know what's going on.
Interesting. Was it on commentary they mentioned possibly these two getting engaged? I don't know if that's been made official or not.
Oh, cool. I mean, if so, then that'd be awesome. I know they've been together a while, I saw Michael Oku when he was like 20, when he was like just an up and coming, like just a guy. He was wrestling on our local indie, and he was basically just a jobber. He was getting beaten up by like Pac and like people like that, which was really funny. He was in one of ELP's last ever matches before he went to New Japan.
Oh wow!
He wrestled him in Liverpool at our local indie.
I miss Pac. Pac's here today, gone tomorrow, all the time. That guy.
He must be. So he's not cleared yet, but he was at the Newcastle Liverpool game on Monday with Sami Zayn, like in the crowd, just watching it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, very cool.
So he's clearly well enough to
sit in a crowd, right?
Yeah. He's well enough to stand at a football match for 2 hours, so he must be getting there. Like he must be on his way.
There you go. Can we also give a quick shout out to Toa Liona and how incredibly fit that guy's gotten? Dude, he looks great. He didn't look bad before, but he's really in shape, man.
So I was saying to Jay when this match was on, I was like, I think Gates of Agony are one of the most improved tag teams of the last 12 months.
Totally agree.
Like they've been rewarded. They've been rewarded with a signature spot on AEW now. They're with Ricochet in the stable. They're frequently on Dynamite. They're putting them in big matches, big important spots on the card, and so they trust them. They know that they can get the job done. They're professional. You don't hear them bitching off in the dirt sheets about losing matches and stuff like that. They're playing the game, and like, they're gonna go far. Yeah.
I've always liked those two guys. JP says I saw that pic of Sami Zayn and Pac at the soccer game.
Pity they were supporting the wrong team, the losing team.
There you go.
Jay's not here. It's fine. I can say it.
Yeah, that's fine. Jay, we won't tell him. No one tell Jay. Then we had Triangle of Madness. I don't know if I am feeling the name. It's fine.
The only triangle-based team that's ever existed in AEW. There have been no others.
Sure. Yeah. Triangle of Madness for short is Tom.
Yeah.
I'm just Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and Tekla and Megan Bain with Penelope Ford defeated Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale by pinfall. 8-woman tag. I like that all the women got on the card, or as much as they could get on the card, which is great. I would rather have seen all these ladies on the main card, but it is what it is. How'd this one go over in the live crowd, Tacey? How'd you guys?
Yeah, everyone loved it. I mean, Willow was popped huge. The crowd. I don't know if you know Blacksmith, the clothing company. They make like the wrestling football jerseys, the soccer jerseys. Sorry, it's Will Ospreay wears his a lot when he's out. You know that green jersey he wears.
Yeah.
So that's made by like just a guy. He's like a fan, and he makes like wrestlers. Like Willow wore hers. So they released a Kenny Omega one, a Darby Allin one, and a Willow one exclusively at the show. It was the first place you could get them. Nice. And then Willow, you know that purple top Willow was wearing on Dynamite this week.
Yeah.
That was that.
Very cool.
So Willow, just to give you an idea of how over Willow was, like her, like I think it nearly sold out. Like the Willow Nightingale, like I mean, I don't want to be like, but with wrestling fans, women's merch selling out is a huge deal.
It is, yeah. Look, kids, we've supported women's wrestling from day one on the main event and on other shows that I've been on, and I'm sure Tacey shows as well. But here's what I'll tell you: as with a lot of the pro wrestling websites, the guys that run these sites, you know what they want the writers to write about? WWE. That's it. And WWE's the articles that get clicks. That's what gets the traffic. I'm not saying I love that, but that's how it is. And the women's stuff doesn't usually get a lot of traffic. And then, like he said, the merch may or may not do okay. The WNBA here in this country, Tacey, which you can support all day long and say they should, they're getting paid like $80K a year. And I'm like, the men are getting millions of dollars. Like, I'm against that. But then you watch a WNBA game and the place is half empty. And it's not fair, but dude, I didn't mean to get all weird, but there's like a weird, do you know what I mean? I wish it wasn't like that.
So we're just starting to break through that now. So we're in a situation now where the women's national soccer team, the England women's soccer team, they've just back to back won the European Championships twice. And they're really starting to, like, women's football in the UK, it's starting to take off now, and but like you're still talking that they're earning like maybe £1,000 a week, and you've got men's players on £350,000 a week. It's like, the money's just not there, and like it's going to take a long time to grow it up. But yeah, and wrestling's the same. Like wrestling, I mean, look back. We're only 20 years removed from gravy matches and bra and panties matches, and jelly matches, and luckily we've left all that behind us. But
yes,
we've still got a lot. It shows how far we've got to go.
It's true. We still got a long way to go, but a match like this helps on a high-profile show, of course, because all these ladies can show off. I still say,
but it's catch-22, isn't it? Like people will say, "Oh, you can't put the women on the spot because they don't draw." Well, guess what? They're never going to draw if you don't put them in that spot.
I don't know how it works in that country, but over here, credit, and I'm doing air quotes for all you folks listening on audio version. Credit. When you're young, you can't get credit. It's like, we can't get credit. Well, how come? Because you don't have any credit. Yeah, but how can I get credit if I can't get? You know what I mean? Like.
It's like it's not so bad. It wasn't so bad when I was like younger, but nowadays, like trying to rent a flat or a house or an apartment, it's like when you can't.
Yeah.
We need a credit history. Right. Well, how do I get a credit history? Well, you got to show regular payments. So you got to rent something, or you got to get a phone contract. You got to get a credit card. Well, how do you get a credit card or a phone contract? Well, you got to have a credit rating. How do you get a credit rating? Well, you got to have a phone contract or a credit card.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's what I'm trying to do with you folks, is to buy something. Well, no, we can't do that. Like. Yeah, it's.
So how do you grow women's wrestling? When you put them on TV? Well, we can't put them on TV. Why? Because it's not growing enough. Well, we got to grow it, but we can't grow it because we can't put it on TV because it's not growing enough to do it.
Can't grow it if it's dark matches. Can't grow it if it's strictly YouTube. Can't grow it if no one sees it. You're right. Yeah, for sure. Before I preach anymore, kids, we'll move to the next one.
Before we do,
yes.
During this match, Tekla and Queen Aminata, they brawled out to the back. That's important. We'll come back to that later.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because, man, they brawled for like an hour and a half or something. It was crazy.
So as soon as they've got their thread going through. So as soon as the bell rings, they're sort of debating like who's going to start for each team, and they're all sort of stood in the ring. And then Tekla, or Queen Aminata, goes to get outside. Then Tekla just spears her through the ropes, and like she just straight goes for her. Like they're like doing that that Kevin Owens Sami Zayn thing where they're just like on site. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. Those two together. And I like that Amanada's not being left out of anything here. I like that because I like her a lot.
She's had a hell of a 6 months. Like
She has. Everybody in this match stepped up too. So I very much enjoyed it. The next match on the card was the shortest match on the card. 7 minutes, 20 seconds was the Ops Trios match, AEW World Trios Championship. Kazuchika Shibata, Powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe, defeating the War Dogs, Clark Connors, Drill Maloney, and Robbie X with Gato. I'm going to be straight with you. Did the War Dogs get enough here to kind of show off? Do you think it could have went a few minutes longer? Or you think it was okay?
I think they got bits. The problem is these were very much like a. I mean, and I say this with great respect. They're very much a bit of a selection of B players, aren't they? Like I love Drill Maloney. Drill Maloney was our local Indies champion for about a year, about 18 months ago. Robbie X I've seen countless times on the UK scene, and it's great to see them just be here. You know, it's like just when they say like it's an honor just to be nominated. It was like one of them. It was like just to see them come out in like in front of 18,000 people with the big entrances, the big cloaks and everything. One of our friends who was actually at London, he bumped into Tekla and Clark Connors in Camden Market on the Saturday.
Nice.
So that was cool. But yeah, Samoa Joe was the big star of this match. Like Joe, from his time in TNA used to tour the UK extensively back in the day when they had like guys like AJ and Samoa Joe. So Joe was always overused with the UK crowd, and yeah, we were big into him. And I mean, I think the Ops probably should beat these guys pretty handily, right?
I mean, that's fair. It's just that every time New Japan does something with AEW, you kind of feel like New Japan tends to lose a lot of these matches. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, like Gato was right there. He could have had a word.
Yeah, I wonder because you hear all kinds of things. It's like, well, Gato used to be the primary booker, and now supposedly it's by committee. And I don't know.
Hey,
how much
Toriano's in there, man. Toriano's doing bits now.
Yeah. So like, it seemed like when it was in Gato's hands, it was fantastic booking. We're talking Dusty Rhodes level of booking, and that's high praise, especially coming from me, because like I felt like they were on. But then, of course, you lose all this top-notch main event talent, and then ownership starts moving around. Tanahashi comes in as president, and it's like, I guess change is inevitable, but I'm in my head, I'm like, why would you mess with something that's working? Do you know what I mean?
I will admit, I might have shouted some fairly unsavory things at Gato regarding his booking of this year's G1.
Interesting.
nothing offensive. Just
What might those things have been?
Just yeah. I mean, I might have called him a terrorist for his his booking of Evil. I might have said that they shouldn't have let him in the country.
I don't understand. We don't have to get into it, but man, I just I
love how the rumor came out that like Tony Khan just doesn't like Evil, so he just won't let him be on any of the combined shows.
Well, we have I have went on and on about how, hey, you wanted the book, you didn't want help, cool. You better make it happen. And then we'll watch shows. I'm like, what's this? Why? So like, if that's how it is, that's fine. But I don't know. It was coming out this week, the stuff that Hager said, and he's not the only one to say things similar of, yeah, Tony plays favorites. And I'm like, yeah, but we kind of always have known that about him, that he's got his favorites.
Everybody plays favorites. Everybody
Sure.
in human history has people they like and people they don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to get into the Hager stuff. I don't think it needs oxygen. The man is clearly desperate for attention, isn't he? And like, I don't think he should be. I mean, it's weird that he calls a billionaire a communist, which I think shows his fundamental lack of understanding of how the political spectrum works, quite frankly.
Well, I mean, I think he's already proven that, hand over fist, that he don't know how politics work, because by the people he supports. But speaking of the Amanada thing,
let's just say that We the People gimmick was maybe not a gimmick.
Not a gimmick. Not a gimmick. No. Yeah. I'm watching the ladies' match right now, and we got the return of Jamie Hayter. I'm guessing that you and everybody around you went nuts when Jamie came out.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it was weird because she made her initial return last year at All In. And then obviously she got hurt again in the Mercedes match. And yeah, love that she's back. I hope that this doesn't mean they're pushing Aminata out of the Thekla thing.
Good call.
But I think it might have implications for something we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I want Jamie to get what she deserves, and also, I think Aminata's really put the work in to be able to earn something. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. Let's see the actual card. Here we go, kids. The actual card, and we're going to go ahead and get to it now. The first match of the night. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage defeating Killswitch and Kip Sabian in a tag team match. So we said this was rushed. They could have milked this thing for a few more weeks, but suddenly they're back together. Was it worth it in the end? Did you guys kind of eat that up? What'd you think?
I think they just really wanted to get Cope and Christian in front of the UK crowd. And I think it kind of paid off because we went ballistic for particularly Cope's entrance. Like, we were singing Metalingus for like, did pretty much the whole song without the music.
Oh yeah,
which was great. My only, again, talking about rushing things a little bit. And I know we talked earlier that the show was tight on time.
Yeah,
they probably could have given us another 90 seconds or so of Cope and Christian in the ring together before they hit the Patriarchy's music and brought out Luchasaurus and Kip Sabian. Like, that was huge. This is the first time they've tagged together since 2001.
That's a long time, man.
And you couldn't give us 2 minutes to drink that in.
No kidding. Yeah, I don't understand that either. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you guys were probably the best on that song that I've heard in months. So,
like, Alter Bridge actually commented like on social media, like, to a clip of it, and we're like, "That's amazing," and it's like, "Oh,
that's very cool." That's
so
very cool.
my girlfriend, so she was like, throughout the entire last week before the show, while she was brushing her teeth, she had the song on, so she would learn the middle bit because she didn't know the words to the bit in the middle, and she wanted to be able to sing the whole thing.
Nice.
Give you an idea of the work that was getting put in by this crowd to make sure we were good on that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, like because anytime, and a note to AEW camera teams across the world, quit trying to show fans singing the songs because they always choose fans that don't really know the words. They're just going,
just put the camera on Cope. Just look at him getting all teary-eyed while we sing his song, and that's everything you need.
Leave it there, and we're good. Yeah, but they insist on showing poor folks in the crowd who are just kind of fudging their way through it. So, well, the match did what it needed to do. You know, Cope and Christian got the win. I do like when they came out and Christian's got that scowl, and then Edge just propped up beside him, and it's just a way of saying, I'm just going to do it because he's doing it. And then he tries to hug him, and Christian's like, no, that's all right. Don't do that. I do like that bit. I think it's funny. And then this past Wednesday when he was getting ready to mention, was it Cash's dad, and Cope took the mic, oh, no, we're not. You know what? Just do it. And then he just lets him do it.
Yeah. I really like how they're stressing that this is like a marriage of convenience. It's not. Yes. They're not back to where they were. They might get there. We don't know. We're going to see where it goes. But at the moment, it's strictly business.
Yeah.
And they're maybe gonna discover that fire again. They're maybe gonna discover that spark. But at the moment, it's not quite there. And I think that they did a really good job of showing that in the match as well. Like, they weren't like they weren't like a slick machine. They haven't tagged together for 20 years. You know, they were a bit rusty. They were like a little bit out of sync, which was great because they're obviously experienced enough and talented enough guys to sort of portray that really well as well.
Mm. You know, knowing what we know about who won the belts later in the card, how soon before we see Christian and Cope? It kind of feels like FTR maybe should have won the belts. Maybe, I don't know, but like, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, my sort of my argument's always been that program doesn't need the belts.
That's fair.
And Jay's argument to me on the weekend, because he obviously picked FTR to win. He said no, but Tony might want the belts to have Cope and Christian's name on them. Like last year we did the Bryan Danielson title run just to put his name in the lineage. Would Tony want Cope and Christian in the lineage of the titles?
But to be fair, we thought that about the world title too. Right? We thought that about the world title, AEW world title, and it didn't happen. So like, maybe he will for the sake of it being the tag belts, but I don't know. I think I'm more with you that they don't really need them,
But I
honestly.
think they're shifting into such a young, exciting tag division in the last couple of months with Jet Speed, with Brodito, with all these other guys. I don't think you need to be having 40-plus-year-old dudes knocking around the titles.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Chad Too Bad says,
Oh boy, we'll talk about the Hurt Syndicate allegations when we get to that match, because they ain't not
yeah,
beating them allegations, are they?
no, not at all. Hey kids, who told you about this a month ago? You know, when I said I won't get into it. When I said it a month
Who had the
ago on
scoop on
this,
this? It was your boy. It was your boy right here.
I'm just saying, a month ago I said it, and I had people in the comments going, "No, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "All right, cool. Don't listen to me. I don't care. It's fine." But yeah, dude, yeah. Hey, nah, I'm just saying. And the guys in our circle in our chat knew before y'all did, because I told them how I knew, and I'm like, "Don't tell anybody I told you."
It was popping off in the Bear Mode group chat. I'll tell you now.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
You slip me a little PayPal. I might be able to get you in. Get all the hot scoops.
There you go. See, we're we
Also, good
welcome
pictures of
people.
food that we send each other because we're terrible people.
It's true. Yeah. Speaking of food, it's been since breakfast, so I'm gonna have to do something. I got water. That's really all I need. I'll keep myself going. Well, here's what I'll say about Cope and Christian. I like both these guys. I'm glad that Christian's back on his game, especially promo wise. I thought what he cut Wednesday was great, and hopefully everything goes well. I don't understand why they keep baiting the hook of a kill switch face turn. They did it forever with Christian. They did it Sunday, and I'm like, why? Shouldn't him and Kit be on the same? Okay,
especially because the only rug pull you've got now is Jack Perry comes back, but he's also a fit heel. So
yes, I don't get that. Like the crowd wants kill switch to be face. They are drooling for it. But like, I don't care if you don't turn him, but why you keep teasing it? I don't understand that. It makes my head hurt. Let's move to the next match, kids. Kyle Fletcher with Don Callis and Lance Archer defeated Hiromu Takahashi. I saw people online going crazy saying how great of a match it was. And I'm like, did everybody think that Hiromu wasn't going to bring everything he had? Like, the Hiromu can take the night off and still have an amazing match.
If
Do you know what I mean?
If you didn't think this was a potential match of the night contender, then I mean, I know, but I mean, all I will say though, in people's defense, I think, I mean, I'm not like a Hiromu expert. I've seen a fair few of his matches. I've not followed his entire career, but Kyle brought the very, very best out of him.
For sure. And
I mean, Kyle's that guy. No, Kyle's just that guy who he just brings the best out of people. He's on that level.
He is. And Kyle gave him a lot. And I've vented before on this show about that too, about how guys who don't give their opponents much or guys who run their opponents down. MJF said Mark Briscoe can't wrestle. Then you better win. You better beat him. Because if you don't pin the guy that you say can't wrestle, you're a schmuck. And by the way, if you pin the guy that you say can't wrestle, who cares? You pin the guy that can't wrestle.
That's the old school mentality. Like, if you run a guy down, and you don't give him anything, if you lose, then you're an absolute idiot because you've lost to a schmuck. And if you beat him, you beat no one. So what's
this right here? That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's kind of where I was. That's kind of where I was with this too, and that's how I am with the champs. Like, not to put, Flair is what Flair is. But the reason Flair was as big as he was is because he would come to your town and he would make your local guy look like he was this close to winning the belt. And it didn't make Rick look like a poor wrestler. Rick came out looking like a star, and so did your hometown guy, because it was a competitive match. Now, of course, Tacey, there's limits. You don't want a guy that jerks the curtain for a week to suddenly come this close to pinning Hangman Page. That might be a little off kilter. But Hiromu should have been given a lot here by Fletcher, and he was. And I think it's part of the reason why this match was so great.
Absolutely. And like I say, Fletcher's just, he's dangerously close to being up in that rarefied air now. He's especially with Ospreay out for possibly a long time. I think the sky is the limit for Kyle. Like, this, this belt's obviously the first of many. It's almost a shame that Ospreay isn't going to be around, because if the plan is was going to be in the next 12 months to put the belt on Ospreay, Fletcher would be the obvious person to take it off him.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Yeah.
So now it almost hurts Fletcher a little bit. It always helps him because he's got that headspace to become that Will Ospreay level character. But also it hurts him because I think Ospreay was his natural main event feud.
Yeah. I agree. And Fletcher is at any given time, and part of his heel run, his heel turn was that I'm tired of being compared to you. I'm tired of being looked at as your little brother or something. But I'm like, man, you kind of are. Like, you kind of, because I just imagine the day Fletcher turns face and he's got that bravado, but as a face. And
he cut an amazing promo on MJF. No, it was on Adam Cole. Sorry, it was on Adam Cole, because 2 years ago, All In, Adam Cole and MJF squashed Aussie Open, like really squashed them on the pre-show.
Yeah.
And then he said to Adam Cole, like, that was the worst day of my life. Like, you took everything from me on that day.
That was really good.
And he said that day made me who I am now, because I never wanted to feel like that again.
Well, I'm a sucker for connective tissue. I'm a sucker for continuity. I'm a comic book guy. It's my thing. So whenever they can connect the dots, and it's like the murder board with all the strings and picks. Whenever you can do that with a wrestling company, I'm so here for it. You know what I mean? Oh, It's like the Ted Lasso show. In season 3, they were connecting all the way back to episode 1. You're like, oh my God, they recalled that and paid it off. Like,
well, it's like just like you say on Dynamite this week, like on Wednesday, they managed to get a massive crowd pop just off Hangman and Kenny hitting one move because of all the history behind it.
Yes. Well said. Well said. Robbie's here. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. Yeah, that was, again, excellent match, kids. Let's get on to the ladies. Mercedes Moné defeating Alex Windsor, Bozilla, and Persephone. 4-way match for AWTBS Championship. I will tell you right out the gate, I expected to really like this match. I expected to think this match was going to crush. I don't know if I expected it to crush as much as it did. Like, I don't know how much Bozilla wants, but pay that lady and put her in your locker room, because holy Lord.
She was the big, I don't know if you could tell, she was the big, like, surprise for the live crowd. Like, we were blown away by what she came out the gate with, like, at the start of this match. Yeah, just to hark back to what we were saying about 5-10 minutes ago, Tom, this match was rated the lowest on the card by Dave Meltzer.
That's a little hard to believe.
Just to show what we're dealing with here in terms of how we evaluate women's wrestling, how we push women's wrestling, and how we sort of, was this worse than Christian and Cope versus Kip Sabian and Killswitch? Man, I don't think so. I had a better time watching this match.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's why I don't rate matches. I mean, Dave can do what he wants. Hey, look, kids, all due respect to Dave. He's been doing this a lot longer than we all have, and been getting paid a lot more than we all have, too. So anybody wants to hate on Dave, they can. I guess it's weird, but...
And hey, Dave's star rating is Dave's opinion. It's not the Bible.
Thank you. And people get so upset. That's like getting mad at Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone put out, like, the greatest rappers of all time, and me and Phil were off mic and off camera for an hour looking at this going, what is this? But then it's like, well, it's their opinion. It doesn't matter. But
it's like the PWI, isn't it? Like, every year the PWI comes out and the internet has a massive argument about it for like 3 weeks, and it's like, it's a couple of guys' opinions, and they're probably very singular, they have very specific likes.
Yes, for sure. And everybody's got an agenda. Magazines have an agenda. TV shows have it. I mean, certain guys get certain spots. I'm just saying. Like, Robbie says, at some point we know what happened, but when do you think Mercedes was? Honestly, I don't know, and I don't. Robbie, I'm going to say I don't care, but that's not directed at you in any kind of way. I really don't care. Like, I loved the guards coming out. And by the way, I know the word boffins from the old Danger Mouse cartoon. Is that still the term that it's used, or is that? Tell me if I'm off. What is that again?
So the Royal Guards that came out, they're like the guards stand outside Buckingham Palace. They don't move. They don't talk. They were all like local wrestlers as well. So, little tidbit for you. So, 2 of the guys, I think they were on the left on screen. On the right on screen on Mercedes' left, they were TK Cooper and Chuck Mamba. They were a tag team called Sunshine Machine. They wrestled Crew on the show on Saturday. They work a lot in Revolution Pro, and they had both the Mercedes Revolution Pro belts, which was really cool.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
She won another belt on the weekend as well. She beat Emerson Jane for the Scottish women's title. So yeah.
So is the goal to get her a belt on every continent? And by the way, that just came from Tom. I didn't read that anywhere. Is that the goal? Maybe.
Maybe she might have a trouble finding an Antarctic title, but
well,
we'll
that's
maybe
fair.
get there. But you know what? It's working because she's rocking. Like, look, I've said this. I don't know if I said it to you, Tom. Mercedes could have signed a contract with the Federation, with WWE, and she could have got paid handsomely to just do what she was doing and like work the matches and be on TV, maybe do a little NXT run, maybe mentor some women.
Yeah.
But you know what? She doesn't. I saw her take some ridiculous bumps in front of 1,000 people on Saturday and on Friday and Saturday. She doesn't need to be taking those bumps. She doesn't need to be doing that. No. She's doing that because she loves this profession. She loves wrestling.
Yeah.
She loves going out there. She's traveling all over the world. She's in Europe. She's in America. She's in Japan. She's in Mexico. She's working in front of 250 people. She's doing shows in bingo halls because she just, this is fantastic. I got to see her from like 15 feet away wrestle twice over the weekend.
Cool. That's very cool. And if in 3 years she goes back and signs the largest women's deal in the history of WWE, I mean, the history of that company, then you would say, well, smart business lady. She did everything. I mean, now I'm not saying she's doing all this to get that, but I think maybe she's doing all this to stick their face in it and say, look what you let me go, or you let me just take a while. Look what happened. I got over and I'm bigger now than I ever was working for you. And like, for yourself in that other company, they sell you the life of being a WWE superstar. That's how they sell their talent. It's like, look, you wanted to do this since you were a kid, right? This is everything you ever dreamed of. But then these people sign the deals and you never see them. You never hear from them. They're in silly matches. They get stupid names. And you're like, what is this I'm watching? But like, I love that Mercedes took her career and her own fate in her own hands.
And they don't let anyone get bigger than the company. They punish you if you get yourself over. Whereas other companies might maybe reward you for that. And she said this, like she said a lot of times, like she loves being in AEW because Tony's really supportive. And she'll say to him, look, I want to go and wrestle in Poland. And he'll be like, yeah, go and win a title in Poland. Cool. We'll show it on Dynamite and we'll bring your belts out and you can have a big celebration with all your belts. And that's great for the companies because there's all them companies' belts on AEW television. You know what I mean?
For sure. I'm so glad you mentioned that because that's the bit that I don't know if we ever hear people saying that much anywhere, honestly, is that these other companies, whether it's just a minute or two, you're going to look at those belts and go, wait a minute, what's the logo on that title? And maybe it'll cause you to go look them up online, right? Like,
and all right, she might not make it to every show. She might not make it to every show in Poland. They might only run 6 shows a year, but I bet you those 1 or 2 shows and Mercedes shows up, they'll pack that house up.
Yeah, they'll sell out every time. Yeah. Yeah. You think Mercedes got a merch table out there where she's selling stuff? What do you think?
I think she's doing photos and meet and greets on the interval.
She's breaking 20s and 100s and shaking hands, right? Yeah.
One thing I will say quite interesting. So Revolution Pro, before the 2 shows, they did meet and greets with a lot of the foreign talent. So like you could meet Blue Panther, you could meet Hechicero, I think. You could meet, but no AEW talent were at the meet and greets.
Oh wow. That's interesting.
And no Zack Sabre Jr. either, even though he was on the card. So
that's very interesting as well. JP says, I heard someone wants Monet to break a record of holding 10 different belts from 10 different organizations. Is that a record? I thought, didn't Ultimo Dragon
Ultimo had 10 because she was comparing herself to Ultimo on an interview, and then obviously the internet got on there and some guy was like, she's not as good as Ultimo, and then someone said, what's your favorite Ultimo match? Then he went, I don't really follow him.
Yeah, right. Right. People have opinions till they don't. I just
love the fact that she makes so many people so angry because she's a woman.
Yes.
She took her career in her own hands. She bet on herself, and she's made a shed load of money, and she's having a great time doing what she loves. And for some men just can't handle that, and it's fantastic.
I love it. When things are listen, I said this to somebody this past week. It must be exhausting, Tacey, to just hate everything and to every day wake up and blister someone on socials, to hate somebody. I got to be honest, man. Life's too short. I can't imagine being that freaking mad every day of my life. Like, dude, go get some sunshine. I don't know. Get away from put the phone down. God bless it, man.
Like,
You know?
Tom, I don't care for WWE programming. I don't care for the company. I don't care for the way they book
No,
matches. I don't care for the way they treat talent. I
no.
don't care for any of that stuff. Do you know how much of my day I spend thinking about that? It's like less than 1%.
Less than 0.5%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because life's too short, man. I'm going to die someday, and I don't want to fill my life with the stuff that I hate. I want to fill my life with the stuff that I really like.
Yeah, that's I was talking to somebody this morning. I was like, because this person asked me, what kind of content do you podcast on? I'm like, stuff that I like. I don't do anything controversial, and I don't really go after anybody, and today's the show where I hate stuff. I'm like, I don't want to put that out in the world. I mean, people listen, you know this. There's plenty of shows people can go listen and watch that do that all the time. They're not gonna get that from me, dude. I don't do that. I don't carry myself that way. I just don't want to do that, man.
I don't want to talk about stuff I don't like.
Right.
It'll just make me angry, and I don't want to be angry. That's why when we do
No.
the podcast, we keep it positive. We talk about the things that we enjoy. You know, if you can't find something you enjoy in a 5-hour pay-per-view, then you shouldn't be watching wrestling. I'm sorry.
Thank you. For sure. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Nigel McGuinness. Singles match for IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Number one, the belt. If the belt's not going to be on Yota Tsuji because of the G1, then Zack Sabre is the most logical choice, in my opinion, in that entire company to have your title. And if you're not sure because you're working on Yoda or you're working on the next tier, that's fine. Keep that belt on Zack as long as you can and not on Evil, my opinion. But so he's the right guy. I said last week on the main event, Tacey, that him and Nigel were going to possibly have the best match of the night. It was not going to be catch as catch can. It was going to be a technical masterpiece. I feel like they both brought everything they had. I love that they hugged at the end. I don't know why they keep teasing a Daniel Garcia heel turn and then they don't do it. I don't know what they're waiting on. But how this play, I'm guessing it played out wonderfully in real time.
So yeah, I as I said to you before, I was close enough to the ring that I didn't have to watch the big screens. I could see the action in the ring. I saw this entire match with my own eyes, no screens in the way, and there were things in this match that I can't believe happened. Like I saw Zack Sabre Jr. the night before wrestle Cesaro, who's a phenomenal young wrestler out of Madrid. He's just about to sign with WWE. This was his last match on the Indies before he goes away. So that match was phenomenal. And then I mean, every time there's a Nigel match, I get this little, because I've seen like Nigel. I don't know if you know this, a little bit of wrestling history. Nigel and Danielson had one of their most famous matches in Liverpool.
Oh, interesting. I don't know if I knew
It was one of the unification matches for the Ring of Honor World Title and Pure Title, and they both. It was the one where they both bled. They both smashed each other onto the guardrail until they bled. It's a hell of a match. I'll find it. I'll send you it. It's phenomenal. It happened like literally 3 miles away from where I'm sitting right now. It's
nice.
Phenomenal match. And I love Nigel so much. And like, if you ever get a chance, have you seen his documentary, The Last of McGuinness?
I have not seen that yet, but I've heard good things about it.
It's a heartbreaking documentary about like Nigel, like on this last tour, and he's wrestled in front of like 50 people on like this tour of America, and he's got like a suitcase full of shirts, and the fans love him, but they're just not there anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it actually ends the last show on his tour, his last retirement match. I don't know if this was intentional or whether it just worked out that way. It was the same day as WrestleMania 30 when Danielson wins the world title.
Oh, dude! Wow.
So he gets a text off Danielson to say, "Good luck in your retirement, congratulations." And it's literally after Danielson's just won the world title.
Wow, class act.
And like he really tries to take it with grace, but then there's a moment where he just like he's in his car and he's just doing a little vlog to the camera and he breaks down and he's like really bitter and he's like, why couldn't I have that? Why did I never get that chance? Why did I never get to do that? He never got the big match. He never got the big entrance. He never got and then, so now to see him have this now as like a second gasp of life in AEW and come out, like he came out in front of 35,000 people last year to make his in-ring return and he faced off against Okada, in the ring, and that was, me and Jay were like crying, like actually crying, because like it meant so much for us to see him have that. But so every time I see Nigel wrestle now, I've always got this little knot of fear of like, what if he's just not good anymore?
And then you see him work, and you're like, nah, he's
good. And then you see, and then 5 minutes, you're like, oh no, he's fine.
Yeah,
he's got his working boots on. He's okay.
Yeah. It doesn't leave you, right? Like the muscle memory, if nothing else, it's not going to leave you, right? Like you'll be tuned in.
And look, I'm not saying this. I mean, Nigel is clearly a very, very, very good wrestler. He was Ring of Honor Pure Champion. He knows his way around a technical match. He can work it. And I'm sure him and Zach they probably call this in the ring, don't they? Like they're those types of guys.
Oh, I would think, yeah.
But Zach, and Zack Sabre Jr. is absolute. He is a magician. I don't know how to describe it. He does things with his body that, as a fairly inflexible, slightly old man, I can't even comprehend. Like there'll be moments where he'll be in a position, and then all of a sudden, like I haven't blinked, I haven't looked away. He's just somewhere else on another limb, you know. And it's just like, right. What?
Yeah, he's amazing. He of everybody, if you were tasked with trying to prove to a doubter that this was actually real, you'd show him Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah,
and you'd be like, "See, it's real," and I'll bet that person would go, "Man, maybe it is real." Like, you know,
because I'll tell you now, because Zack Sabre Jr., he doesn't win by like stomping around the ring, slapping his leg, or the people's elbow or anything like that. He wins by just grabbing part of your body and twisting it until it puts you in so much pain that you say that's enough.
Yeah. I love how when people tap out to him, it's very quick. Like the best in the world will tap out very quick. And in this country over here, you would go, but it's Zach. And like, to your point, if you were legitimately in a shoot or whatever, the minute you're in the hole, the only thing you can think is ow, 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 ow. And then you got to tap. But also, I don't want my arm to be broken. I'm going to tap right now. Do you know what I mean?
So that's the point that always irks me a bit about wrestling. I know it's theatrics, and we can't think too much about it because it's performance, and if you prod it falls apart. But I always prefer it when, like you say, when the struggle isn't. I hate the spot where like someone's in a submission and they're in it for like 3 minutes, and like, nothing's changing. They're not wrenching it back any harder. They just like, they've got you in a Boston crab, say, and they're sitting on you, and you're just there, and they're like, I know, and then they're going to crawl, and they're there for like ages. I much prefer it when the struggle is trying to put the move on, trying to lock it in.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it's in, that's it. Like,
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So that's what they did really well. Like, obviously Nigel and Zach, experts at this. A lot of this match was them trying to use their bodies to block leverage and to sort of like twist and elevate parts of the body so that they couldn't get purchase on it, and it was all about fighting for that little bit of advantage and that little bit of leverage and that little bit of like, getting on top of them, and that's what Zach's so good at. Like when he won his match on against Cesaro on Saturday, Cesaro went for a head scissor and he just snatched him out the air and put him in an armbar, like while he was holding on, while he was hanging upside down, and he tapped out in like a second.
That is awesome. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about these guys. Zach's one of my all-time favorites. He's so freaking good, man. Let's see. Robbie says, prayers go out to DDP. Saw on Facebook he's in the hospital with heart issues. I have not heard anything about that today.
Yeah, so apparently he was doing a workout at home, and he wears a heart monitor because he's had some heart issues, but he took it off because for whatever reason. And I think he had like a sort of dizzy spell, and he almost collapsed, so they took him to the hospital. He's by all accounts doing absolutely fine. They're just checking him over.
Good. Yeah, good to hear that. Let's see, kids. We've got new AEW World Tag Team Champions, as we alluded to earlier. Brody King and Bandito defeated the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and FTR.
Did they?
Yeah. Well, they defeated yeah, well, look. I'm not going to say, everybody, that I told you so. But I kind of told you so. And I always, Tacey, I made sure to deliver it with the caveat of, doesn't mean I think MVP's a piece of crap, or Shelton or Lashley. I don't think anything negative about the three of them as individuals, or as a trio, or as a tag. The only thing I said was, if this is being allowed, the guy booking the show shouldn't allow it, in my opinion. It ain't their show. It's his show and his company. So, like, give me your thoughts on this. First of all, what did you think about the match in person?
So, I mean, again, Brody King was easily the most over guy here. Like the London crowd absolutely ate up. I mean, you can't not be impressed by this guy, can you? You know, look. I mean, you see what he looks like,
Yeah.
and that gets you halfway there. And then he gets in the ring and starts doing what he does, and then it's like, okay, this is a guy with like generational athleticism for a man his size.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got, I mean, and then when the other member of the team is Bandito, who's one of the best luchadors that probably come out of the last sort of 10 years.
I agree with that.
He and because like the thing people that when you watch this tag team, you go, oh yeah, Brody King, he's the power guy, Bandito, he's the fast guy, and there they are. But Brody King's also really quick, and Bandito's also really strong.
Yeah, that's true. They're an interesting duo.
They can do it all. And they're so over. And they came out with a couple of things that sort of tipped me off on how this might have gone. First of all, Brodito came out with a new unified entrance graphic.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
The little cartoon drawing of them, which I need that on a t-shirt. That looks absolutely sick. Absolutely love that. Brody King. I mean, if you ever get a chance to go to an AEW show, if they swing past your way and Brody King's on the show, there's nothing better than doing the dog bark when Brody King's, just throwing people around. It's real fun to do that in real life. Oh my god! Sing along to the Head Syndicate song as well. I know you don't like it, but just singing with her people, that's a real fun time.
Yeah, I like that song.
So I isn't it West Side Gun?
I think so.
Yeah.
I knew Brody when he was in the original Ring of Honor, when he was with Villains. What was it called? Villain Enterprises.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But, but they did have PCO in there too.
Oh yeah,
dude, that was a hot little faction, and you could argue at one point they were in the top 3 hottest faction in the business. Man, they were red hot at one point. But we know about the rest of it. So, so even back then, I'm like, how did that big dude, how is he, right? Like, you can't even put into words the lucha stuff that this guy does, man. It's crazy.
And he just ticks all the boxes. Like, his look is unbelievable. His size is great. Yeah. His in-ring ability is phenomenal. Not just for a big guy, just for a guy. He's, by all accounts, one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Like, I actually, we ordered, a couple of us ordered, the Abolish Ice shirt he wore.
Yes.
Like, the shirt they made for the charity. A couple of us, and I actually got mine on Forbidden Door Day off my mate who ordered it for me.
Very cool.
So that was really awesome. I think did you watch a lot of the AEW YouTube stuff? RJ City does his like little Sunday morning like interview show, and it's quite funny.
Not a lot. I need to. I used to watch Being the Elite all the time.
So RJ City does Hey EW on a Sunday where he does like a very sort of sarcastic interview, and it's really good. Right. And he had Brody King on, and he said to one of the questions, he asked him like really like sort of blunt questions. He says, "Do you act extra woke because you look really racist?"
No, oh my God. That's a great rib. Oh my God. That is awesome.
And Brody just took it. He kind of deadpan. His sense of humor is very deadpan. It's very sort of like very very straight, very sort of And it was they had a really good rapport together. They had a really good time. But so the Brodito entrance that sort of made me think, oh, maybe just maybe, because I remember saying to my partner Sarah, I was like, if Brody King wins, like I'm not gonna be able to contain myself, like because I just love him so much. Then MVP wasn't with the Hurt Syndicate, which was interesting.
That was very interesting. Yes.
So I thought initially, because I said to Jay, is this because he's a convicted felon? Is he not allowed in the UK?
I don't know.
But apparently that's not the case.
Yeah.
So he just wasn't there.
That's a great question. I really don't know. I've had an insanely busy week, so I haven't done any kind of research to figure out what happened to him. That's crazy. Well, look, the match was still solid. I didn't see Shelton or Lashley not performing. It's not like they laid down.
They didn't sandbag anyone. They're professionals. No. They took all the offense. They gave a lot to Brody in particular and Bandito and FTR. I don't see anything when they're in the ring that suggests that they have a problem with anybody.
No, and like, there's something to be said for Austin back in the day, making it known. You want me to lose to Brock on TV? Why? And then, of course, could he have handled it better instead of just going home? I guess. Because it was that whole, he took his ball and went home. But I'm like, you asked your top guy to lose to a guy on TV.
And if I remember correctly, Austin's problem wasn't losing to Lesnar. It was that it was on a throwaway TV match. He said, if you want to build him up, I'll put him over on a big show.
Yes. Yes, 100%. That's exactly what it was. So, I don't know that Shelton, in my opinion, I don't think Shelton and Lashley, let's say it's so outright, Tacey, that they're flat out telling Tony, we're not, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that it carries water or holds water or carries weight when you're the age you are. Yes, they both look phenomenal. Yes, they both got name recognition. You're not 25, both of you. You're not, 30 years ahead or in front of you. You're not the hottest thing. You're not Toni Storm. So right, I don't understand it if that was flat out being said, and there's debate about that. I don't know. And again, like we said earlier, why would you never want any team to even get a whiff of a 3 count against you? Your matches are going to get boring. In my opinion, Hurt Syndicate's matches have become more than boring this whole time. Because I'm like, they're not winning, they're losing belts tonight. So a lot of this just don't add up, dude. I don't get it.
No. But yeah, the match was really fun. Obviously, we had the as soon as the Hurt Syndicate got dragged out, the crowd, I think you could actually tell the energy in the room really picks up, because as soon as that happens, we know we're going to have new champions.
Yes,
so
yes.
everyone gets real excited to see that happen.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you. And
which, that's a problem, isn't it? When the biggest pop is for your champions and showing everyone, look, we're losing these belts, and then the crowd pops mad. That's when you've got a little issue and you need to get the belts onto somebody else.
Yeah, it's maybe time to drop them.
I mean, I was super into the Hurt Syndicate winning the belts. It felt really cool. I just don't see. I've had this issue before. We've gone back and forth on the Bucks and FTR, and I know they're two of the most decorated tag teams of all time, and they're two of the greatest tag teams of all time. But in a company where several teams just didn't get their flowers, when Best Friends never won the belts, when Proud and Powerful never won the belts, all these Private Party only got that horrendous title reign. I don't see how you can justify 3 and 4 time tag team champions.
And the Outrunners, the only thing Outrunners do is lose. That's all they do. They'll beat teams that aren't ranked, and then they'll lose to top teams all the time.
The Outrunners have got that curse, though, haven't they? Where they're one of those guys who they go, oh yeah, you can lose, but still be over, so you can just lose all the time.
I mean, I guess, but I imagine how much more over they'd be if they won the belts for a change, right? It seems like easy math.
The Bucks wanted to do business, didn't they? They wanted to drop it to the Outrunners. That was what was reported. The Bucks said, "Oh no, they're the guys we want," and it just never happened for whatever reason.
Yeah. See, I heard the same thing about FTR. That FTR wanted to put the Bucks over, or the Outrunners over. I'm like, no, you don't. You've beat them. They've pinned them 3 times now or something. What are we talking about?
The only, I mean, because I think the Outrunners have got to come back around the horn now. They've got to come all the way back. They're at the back of the queue now. They've got to come all the way back around, and it's going to take a little time. Yeah. So, Fernando, that was my initial reaction. I thought, oh yeah, he's been in prison. He can't come to the UK. Apparently, Jay said no, he does come to the UK often because he's a Man United fan and he's always going to the football game.
Oh, interesting.
So, I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Weird.
But that was the first alarm bell that went off in my head when this match started. Something was a bit off because why isn't MVP here?
Yeah.
At a pay-per-view.
Right. And I guess they could lay that at his door later and say, well, my guys had off night because I couldn't be there or whatever, so it's not their fault. I don't know. They could spin it, I suppose. Fernando says Outrunners are just a gimmick. I don't. To me, you do what your audience is telling you. Like, once upon a time, you had the biggest names in your company in the ring for this big thing. And the owner's son was standing in there as well, I think, or the owner's son-in-law. And the crowd was chanting for a guy named Daniel Bryan. Okay? Because the crowd was telling you, we want him. And they said, you're not going to get him. Right? And they did everything they could to not give him to you. And they finally said, screw it, give him to him. And then they did all they could to get that belt off of him quick. Like, I feel like you do what the crowd wants you to do. The crowd wants the Outrunners at any given time. Why aren't you just going to make it happen? They wanted Danhausen, and you never did anything with Dan. I just don't understand.
I think the only thing I'd say about particularly the Outrunners and Danhausen is they're not quite on the work rate level of some of the teams that you'd have, or some of the players you'd have. And I think if that, because like it's easy to, I don't know, it's tricky in it because you can't please everyone, and like what's AEW's hardcore fan base? I think it's work rate guys. I think it's like guys who like the old school Ring of Honor, like 2010 Ring of Honor, like I agree. You know, and I think you have to play to that crowd. You have to play like to the 5-star match crowd, and you have to put the big matches on. And AEW's kind of carved that as the identity. And like, I love the Outrunners. I think they're really entertaining, but they don't hang in that circle. They're not 5-star match guys. Yeah, they can tell stories, they can put on fun matches, but they're not gonna have a Matt Classic, are they?
Did you see the video they had outside, like in the woods and stuff?
They're fantastic. They're so entertaining.
They're so good.
If I was running that collection of companies, they'd be my Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions for like a year.
Forever. Yes. Dude.
In fact, they're wrestling for the tag titles tonight.
Well, you know what? Friggin' Tony Khan. Make this
because one of your champions is banged up. He's not even in the match. He's injured. So
yeah, make this happen. Let's talk about the next match here, kids.
Oh, do you want to talk about the finish? Because
yes, was a bit absolutely.
Weird. Let me before, because I don't know. I saw it live, and I don't know how it came across on TV. Because like Bandito hits that. I mean, that's such a cool move where like Brody just like springboards him off his body, and he goes flying and lands on Cash. No, he lands on Dax, sorry, and then like I don't know who messes up either, because Bandito doesn't cover him straight away, but Paul Turner starts counting, and then he has to stop the count and start the count again, and then fair play, Cash and Brody act on the fly and save it, because Cash is meant to be like just missing the breakup, and because the count goes longer, he's in the ring too early, so Brody jumps on him and like stops him.
Yeah, I'm watching it back right now. God, that move. Holy cow.
He gets so much speed coming off. It's unbelievable.
Brodito went to roll him up with the leg and then just dropped his leg. Brodito, his leg just slipped out of Brodito's hand because you could see him rolling. And then he meant to go back and grab the leg again. And since he was already on top of him, that's still a cover.
Yeah, he should have just counted the 3 without the leg hook, I think. But hey.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's drilled into their heads. Hook the leg if it's the end. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that makes sense. I do like those tag belts. I think they're one of the better looking sets of belts or belts that they have there. Yeah,
but now, do you know my only fear now, and because this is it's not just an AEW thing, it's endemic of all wrestling. I just hope they don't disappear off TV, because it's so hard to have champions wrestle on TV frequently, because you're either giving away title matches on TV, which you can't do that forever. I mean, they did a good job this week. They put him in a multi-man match, which was fine.
Yeah.
And if that's the way forward, then we just do that, because I don't want them to disappear off television.
I totally agree with you. And you know, now that they have the belts, they're no longer in contention. They could do that. They could just have
or do some open challenges, or just do. Yeah, that's always a nice face thing to do. I just hope they manage to. I just hope that they manage to sort of figure something out and just keep them wrestling and keep them on telly, because the crowd love them. They're hot. They're really hot. I think the reason they won the belts is because they just caught fire.
Yeah, for sure. JP says MVP's absence is explained that Ricochet sent a copy of MVP's criminal record and the UK wouldn't allow him into the country. Is that what they're going with?
If so, then that's kind of funny, and I'm kind of into that.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's a Ricochet thing to do. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
Fernando says, "Who should Tony elevate with the absence of Will and Swerve?" Fernando, come back at the end, at the open floor, and throw that question back out, if you will.
Well, I think that partially answers a question that we had earlier. Like, why didn't they turn Daniel Garcia heel? Like, maybe they need to face Daniel Garcia.
Maybe they do need to face Daniel. It seems like they got a lot of heels. You know what I mean? At any given time, they got a lot of top level heels, man. Do you know what I mean?
Just saying, Orange Cassidy's almost back.
I think they have missed him. And I said this last week that I thought that Orange is one of those guys. Orange, if you had Orange and Eddie both came back in this next week or two, you'd still miss Swerve, obviously. You'd still miss Ospreay, obviously. But I think that'd go a long way into beefing up their main event level guys.
Especially the guys who can both instantly slot into programs with Moxley and have big emotional things with him. They've both been to the wall with John Moxley. They both have issues with John Moxley. Yeah.
By the way, I like how Darby, and I love Darby, don't get me wrong, but Darby cut that promo or that vignette. And he's like, where he's got his own blood or something, and he's writing on, and he's like, I'm going to take everything from you. We can't take everything. I mean, you can't take the belt. Like, I get what you're saying, but you can't take everything. I don't know. It's fine, right? I love Hangman. But man, the more I see this, I'm kind of thinking, man, should Darby have come back and won the belt from John? Like, I don't know. I'm glad we got what we got.
I kind of like the idea that Darby's not even thinking about the belt. He's just all about just destroying John Moxley. Because Hangman doesn't even think about him anymore because he's not the champion and he hasn't got the belt and he's not challenging him for the belt. Whereas Darby is like, no, this is personal. I'm going to destroy your entire life.
Yeah. Well, now he'll have Ospreay coming after him too whenever Will gets back and he's healthy.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okada versus Swerve, and Okada, of course, won the match, retained AEW Unified Championship. I said this would probably be one of the best matches on the card if it doesn't steal the show. You got two class acts, two fantastic wrestlers. How did this come off during the live show there, Tasty?
Yeah, so I think it was kind of from Zack Sabre onwards is when it sort of felt like the big matches were coming on. Like, this is when it started to feel like getting to the business end of things. So like, I think it's because like we had these were all title matches up until the main event. Now at this point, well, so was the Mercedes. Actually, everything bar the opener was a title match except for the main event. But still, true. This is when it, like, the energy sort of in the room, sort of everyone's sort of locked in, and we're like, right, okay, no, this is the big boys now. I mean, This is the match I thought could have done with 5 more minutes.
I totally agree with that.
Only because I think Okada has the best final 5 minutes of a match in the business, and he didn't quite get to top gear.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say it that way, but that's a great observation. Yeah, I'm watching it back right now. Let's shout out Swerve's Mr. Terrific look at the beginning.
That's so good. Swerve just gets it, doesn't he? He just gets everything about he just gets the look. He knows how to present himself. He knows how to move or look. Everything he does is calculated. Everything he does is for a reason. There's no wasted energy. There's no wasted words.
I just remember watching him in those smaller venues when he was taking on Cody with black hair and other folks, and he was coming out to the Shaka Khan song. And I just remember looking at those videos, and again, 300 people in the room, and I'm like, there's something about this guy. There's something about him. And of course, we knew him from Lucha Underground as well. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, man, there's something about him. He's got it. Like you said, he's got it, man.
You know when they say, like, dress for the job you want? Like, that man's always looked and acted like a star, like a top guy. And look where he's got to, you know.
Carry yourself like you're a big deal, and people will think of you as a big deal. But he is a big deal for real,
Yeah, and he's been doing, like, this man. He literally, like, 3 days after this match went and got knee surgery.
Isn't that crazy?
And he's doing stuff like, all right, I don't think Swerve in this match is as good as Swerve when he wins the title. Like, I don't think he's lost a half a step because his knee's falling off. But I'm not going to hold that against him,
No, I don't know how you could. Yeah, he's and this injury he's had since 2019 in the other company, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just been a lingering injury all this time that he just never took care of. And we know that kind of stuff happens all the time. that like guys will have nagging injuries that they're just not taken care of for whatever reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, but
I mean, it's just it sucks, but it's the nature of the business that people
it
get
is.
hurt, and you work with a bit of pain, and like maybe what when do you tap out? When do you go? Is it 7 out of 10? Is it 8 out of 10? Is it 9 out of 10? So if you're at 5 out of 10 for 5 years, do you just live with 5 out of 10?
And also, you know, I would hope things are better now. But back in the day, we're talking about territory days and stuff, and you know this. But like, you didn't want to tell anybody you were hurt because you were terrified you'd lose your spot.
Especially if you're maybe not a white wrestler.
Thank you. Well said. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like,
I mean, I'd like to think, I like to think, I mean, I like to think in this day and age, in this company, Swerve's walking back into a spot, no questions asked, because it's Swerve, and he's, you know, justifiably one of the top acts in the company.
Yes. But in other companies, you couldn't say that.
But that like basic panic never leaves you, does it? Like, no matter how much you tell yourself the business is better, if you've been told the stories by the vets saying, I took a week off and I never got back to the title scene, or like, you know, because I'm black, they never booked me again, or, you know, like that ingrained paranoia that gets into you when you're coming up is probably hard to shake. I can understand that.
You're out of sight, out of mind. That's a lot of it. Not just the racial aspect, but if you're out of sight, out of mind, people aren't talking about you. So like, you know, we'll see how it plays out. But when it's time for him to come back, I think he'll be back before we'll be back.
Yes, yeah, it does sound like it's going to be maybe early next year. Will's talking 12 months plus. Like he's gone a while.
Yeah. All the best to Will, man.
I loved just talking because we're talking about Swerve. I loved how on Dynamite this week Hangman cut this big promo saying how we're going to miss Will Ospreay and thanks for everything he's done for the company, and he wishes him speedy recovery. Nothing about Swerve. Absolutely nothing about Swerve.
Nothing. Yeah.
Hangman still can't bring himself to put any respect on that man's name.
I think that they have, and it's a very cowboy Western thing to do, to make peace with somebody and to like broker some kind of deal. And, you know, so like, I like the idea that they're on good terms, but it's like, just stay over there and I'll stay over here. You know what I mean?
It's very much a keep my name out of your mouth.
Yes.
Sort of deal, isn't it? It's like,
it is.
I'll do my business, you do your business. I won't talk about you. You don't talk about me.
Right. And like, you know, Punk and Danielson, Hunter and Sean, Zayn and Owens. There's certain guys that you can just keep them busy, just keep them separate. And then when you want or need to, put them back together, and all that history immediately comes back. The crowd is automatically into it. And they're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see them. And we're like, they've given you this 100 times, but it doesn't matter because the smart booking says, cool it down, cool it off, get them the F away from each other, and then just wait and go, all right, now. And then boom, and it makes all kinds of money. Do you know what I mean?
Case in point, they've literally just done that with Hangman and Kenny.
It's true. Yeah, right.
And they're probably going to have a tag match at All Out, and if they're smart, and they'll probably run back a title match at Full Gear.
Yeah,
because that's the Kenny Hangman pay-per-view, isn't it? That's where you do it.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, for sure.
I do. I mean, if I'm booking, I'd do Kenny Hangman versus Takeshita Okada at All Out. Because then you've got the Takeshita Okada rivalry that's been bubbling. You've got the Kenny Hangman thing that's bubbling, and then they can both explode at Full Gear and do them both singles matches.
I'd buy that all day. For sure. Yeah. Well, we know Okada is Okada, and
look, when the lights come up and you know it's big money pay-per-view, Okada's your guy, and if you don't think Okada's having a good match on a pay-per-view, you've not been paying attention.
Okada is, and every guy will know what I mean. Okada is that girl that you would never speak to, like you just don't. You're just, I don't know if intimidated is the right word. There's just something. Like, no,
it's like I don't want to offend her by talking to her. Basically.
Yes. That's what. And like maybe she's not carrying herself like she's better than you or anybody else, but you just have her up here because you're like, man, she's up here. To me, that's
me being within 10 feet of her would sully her world, and
yes,
and I can't do that in good. I
don't want to bring her down. She's got friends. She's got a mama and a daddy, right? I don't want to do that to him. Okada is kind of like that for me. He's just like you said, whenever
It's
they
that
need,
it's that restaurant you're too intimidated to book a table in.
that's it. Yeah, that's him for me. And like again, people who have a problem with him and the gimmick and callous, I'm not going to say I disagree with you. I'm also not going to say I don't get it. But at the same time, kids, and man, we've hashed this a bunch on my pod. I don't know about your guys' show, but like, let's say he just didn't sign. How was he supposed to stay in New Japan forever? And like, was he supposed to keep working the
Win the
same 10
G1
guys?
again? You know,
Yeah, keep working the same 10 guys. I mean, or was he supposed to do this for a bit? You know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like this is the right place for him, man.
I mean, the man is 37 years old. He
Yeah.
is. He's got what, maybe 5 years top level.
Maybe. With him, now here's what I'll say. Okada's not a super heavyweight. He's not carrying around a ton of extra pounds.
And he's very clever and very safe in how he works.
He works a very safe style. Having said that, he got his bell rung in Japan for a lot of years because it's Japan.
Oh, he's been dropped on his head a fair few times, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Man, when Swerve, I'm watching it back. Swerve did that spot over the top rope and landed crooked on his knee. I'm like, I don't know if you're really hurting, but God, you're smart. Because we all know that you're going to go out. Do you know what I mean?
I think Swerve's one of probably the top 5 smartest guys in the business.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Like I said to you before, everything he does has a meaning. There's no wasted motion. There's no superfluous words. Everything he says has meaning. Everything he does has meaning.
Yeah. And we got Okada versus Swerve in the UK on a worldwide stage on live pay-per-view. And like, I don't know if you could have ever predicted that, but here we are. I love where we are. Like, people can get upset about ratings and small crowds. I don't really care at this point. I don't care. I'm so grateful and happy this company is doing their thing. If the other company has anything to say about it, they won't be. Because as we all know, they'd love to see this company shut down. And just deprive us of all this great wrestling, dude.
And not just that, like, I mean, look, you can like what you like. You can do whatever.
Sure.
And like, if the WWE were putting on a show at the bottom of my garden, I'd draw the curtains. I wouldn't watch it. But I don't want to see them shut down because, all right, no. I hate the management. I hate the people who run the company.
Sure,
but
I do too.
I like all the guys getting paid.
I do too. Yeah. I don't want to see them go anywhere. I just don't like them. Like,
I mean, I'm a gutted that the Motor City Machine Guns didn't come to AEW to have great matches with all my favorite tag teams. Absolutely. I'm happy that Motor City Machine Guns are getting big old fat contracts and getting paid in the last couple of years. Absolutely.
Do I like that Cody has become an amazing international household name? Buddy, I sure am. I like Cody a lot. The politics stuff, it always gets me. It is what it is, but I've always loved Cody, man. I love that he is where he is, and he could only get that in that company. This company wasn't doing that for him. I'm sorry they weren't. They just weren't. Let's see. Fernandez says Hangman versus Kenny and All Out to counter the WWE show. I mean, can I be honest with you, Fernando? If I were AEW, I wouldn't do anything to counter anybody else. Let that other company do that garbage. Let them worry about that.
I think there's been a marked improvement in AEW's output since they stopped worrying about that.
I agree. Yeah.
Because there was a bit where they were hot shotting stuff and they were doing some sort of, not car crash booking, but they were doing some sort of rushed bookings to sort of put big matches on at certain times. And Tony was trying to tweet out, well, watch this at this. We're gonna start with John Moxley's gonna defend the title in the first 5 minutes of the show. And but now they're just like, no, look, we've got the best product. If you want to watch it, come and watch it.
Yeah. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I hate to be so cliche. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't have to conquer the world in one match. You can just, build it up over time. I think it's just such the right way to do it, man.
Just let your product breathe. Let it do its thing. Yep. Trust your guys because you've got the best guys.
Yes.
And let them put the show on and just let them go and do their thing. The guys and the girls you've got there, they can knock it out the park every week. We've seen it happen for a couple of years now.
Yep. I agree with that. Let's move on to timeless Toni Storm defeating Athena to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. There were some folks had a problem with this. And I'm like, I don't know how you see it. I never believed Athena was getting built up to defeat Toni. I wasn't feeling it. I didn't think it was going to happen.
So I think they did a good job of just doing enough to make you believe it's a possibility. Some people were talking about it like it was a done deal, like and this is why this really upsets me about like wrestling fans will get in this mode where like I've convinced myself that this has to happen, and if it doesn't, I'm going to be upset because what I wanted didn't happen. And it's like, well, now you're just ruining it for yourself, because you can have a great, and as I've shown here, you can have a wonderful match, a fantastic match with two phenomenal women, and you're going to ruin it for yourself because it wasn't what you made it in your head.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, we say it all the time, and we've heard it all the time too for years. That's not the story they wanted to tell. Like sometimes.
And do you know what annoys me so much as well, Tom? Is like people will go and see a movie, and it will pull like a really well good subversive twist ending, and people will come out of the movie going, "That blew my mind. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
It was so refreshing. It was so like." But then when you go to watch a wrestling show, if you don't get exactly what you want, you're furious because like the person I thought was going to win didn't win, and they tricked me. And it's like, well, make your mind up. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know what I mean? It's like,
I think there's such a deep. We could do a whole show on this, by the way, so I better be careful. I think there's such a deep emotional tie to pro wrestling because it comes to town, and it comes on your TV, and it's regular, and there's never a rerun, and it's always, I don't want to say always fresh, but there's always different stuff happening, and you feel as though it becomes part of your life. Like you know, this idea about here's the biggest movie star in the world. Okay, cool, but are you attached to George Clooney? Are you attached to Brad Pitt? Are you more attached to Jason Sudeikis because he's on your TV every week? Do you know what I mean? Like it's a dependable character. You can watch him, you can enjoy it. You feel like those people are real. We feel like the folks in the Bear. If we do this show long enough, they're going to start to feel like real people if they don't already. But if that were one standalone movie with a sequel 3 years later, we wouldn't feel that way. So I think a lot of that is what wrestling is, man, is that people get so emotionally invested because they feel like that they're, by some weird osmosis, they're a part of it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and is it like a sport thing as well? Is it because it presents as a sport and you're like sort of they're my team and like I support them?
So.
But like, hey, newsflash, guys, I don't know who's sports fans here, but sports teams lose. Like I spent a good half my life with my team being real bad, and we lost all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, part of the joy of one day your team winning that ring is that it took you 5, 6, 10 years to get there. Like, you know, and because for those fans whose team wins the championship every year, I guess you're still having fun, but at some point you're like, man, where's the drama? Where's I don't know.
Faye says, friend of the show, Faye,
yes.
Wrestling Podcast co-host Faye, her favorite wrestlers, the Young Bucks, but her favorite thing is to watch them lose matches.
That's hilarious.
Because she says she loves how they suffer. Like to her, that's the drama for her is watching them suffer and lose and struggle, and not just because when the Bucks win, it's kind of boring, isn't it? It's more fun when they're getting their asses kicked.
I agree. What a healthy attitude she has, by the way. Shout out to Faye. Fernando says Toni versus Athena was better than Toni versus Mercedes. What do you think about
that? I think it depends what you're into. They were both incredible matches. I mean, I'd have to watch them. I would have to go back to back on them both and to pick a winner out of them. And I don't want to. Quite frankly, I want to just enjoy them both. I'm not having a go at you there, Fernando, but like, yeah, we don't have to compare these women.
Yeah,
we can just celebrate that they were both incredible matches.
Celebrate it. Yeah, I am totally with you on that. Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Ooh, I like that. I enjoyed this match. I knew they would deliver. I'm on the record as saying, and I know it's a weird thing to, I don't want to say complain. I'm trying to complain. It's a weird thing to nitpick. I'm not crazy about the current version of Athena's character. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not feeling it anymore, but that's Tom talking. It's no one else talking. But buddy, when that stuff is turned off and she goes about the business of a wrestling match, you're reminded, God, this chick is effing great. Like you know she is, but when she hits that button, you're like, I'm glad the snarky stuff's over. Let's get to the wrestling. Because she's so good. Do you know what I mean?
She is. She is a phenomenal performer. She's probably top 5 in the American women's wrestlers, working today.
I
And
totally
she's
agree.
not 5.
No, 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 not at all.
She ain't number 5. No, she's great. I mean, like again, trying to compare her and Mercedes is apples and oranges. They're totally different types of wrestler.
Yeah.
Athena's all about the big moves and the high flying and the jumping off the top rope, but she's also got the basics down, and obviously she knows her way around the ring. Yeah, she's and Toni. Like, how many more plaudits can we throw at Toni Storm? Like, did you see the picture of her the other week? She was doing a German suplex without shoes on, and she was like on her tiptoes.
I did not see that. Now I got to see that. That's insane.
She is just a freak of nature, like both in terms of what she could do with her body in the ring, and that's before you even take into account like how just effortlessly watchable she is in like everything she does. And it must be so hard to be like so full on, so switched on all the time.
I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe she's so accustomed now that it. Um, I've hung out with, and I have to clarify, this is a much smaller level. What I'm getting ready to tell you, smaller, independent wrestling level. I've hung out with my fair share of wrestlers who don't really know how to turn it off, and like we'd be at dinner, and they're cutting promos at the table, and I'm like, we're all looking at each other, going, "This guy, what are you? What? Stop!" And you kind of have to tell them to be like, "Oh, my bad." Like they didn't know they were doing it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I wonder if she gets so wrapped up she doesn't know. Like if she's at home and
So
she's
this is
doing
just
that
clarified
voice.
that I really need to go to dinner with her and Juice Robinson, because I think that would be the greatest time of
Wouldn't
my
that
entire
be
life.
awesome? I'd want to do that anyway. Are you kidding? You know what would suck is if they were the most normal people and just
Yeah,
were.
well, Juice. So again, Juice did a interview with Renee on their YouTube channel, and I don't know how much of this was in character because it's wrestling, you can never quite tell.
Sure.
But one of the things he said to Renee was like, "Oh no, I get time as Toni Storm 24/7. Like the whole time she's doing this."
That is awesome.
So if he's telling the truth, then oh boy.
You know what I love is that entrance that she had when she came out with the full white and the collar and she's doing this. You know what went through my head when I saw her? I thought this is something the other company would do on day one with a talent. On day one of a new woman. And that crowd would go, "Pfft," and she'd get laughed out of the building. Toni has earned this. Toni has built up to the point.
She's gone like one step at a time, like further and further into parody and into sort of And so this, I don't know if you know, this was I don't know if it was explicitly, but it was very close to a character from the show Blackadder.
Interesting.
So Blackadder, you might know it. It's the Rowan Atkinson historical comedy. The really famous series is it follows the same lineage of a royal, like a sort of aristocratic family through several generations, and it starts in like I think it's medieval times, or maybe the Tudors might be the first season, and it ends with in the First World War with him dying, and that's the end of his family lineage.
Well, you just gave the whole thing away because I've never I have it saved on a streamer, the entire series. I just haven't started watching. Look what you just did.
The really famous series is the last one, which is set. He's an officer in the First World War, and it's so well written that they actually show it in schools, in history classes.
I've seen clips because Hugh Laurie was in that show. I've seen clips.
Yep, Hugh Laurie was in it. Stephen Fry, I think, pops up. Yeah.
When I don't know the character, I'm getting so off target. When the little character comes up and he goes, what was he telling me? He said, "You don't know anything," or he said, "Deny everything." So he gets up there and he's like, "Are you not?" And he asks him his name. He goes, "No, I'm not." And they're like, "What?" So he denies because he's doing what he was told. He denies everything. I don't know the character. It's so good.
Yeah, so it was a reference to one of the Tudor characters from that. I think it's Prince George. So it's like the powdered sort of foppy, white-haired Georgian Elizabethan Tudor, like sort of dandy sort of character. Yeah.
I get that dandy reference. I know what you mean.
If you've seen have you seen the film The Favourite?
I don't think I've seen that.
George Lathmas film with Emma Stone. It's fantastic. Emma Stone, Raquel Weisz, and Olivia Colman. It's very similar to Nicholas Holt's character in that. He plays an incredible dandy.
Maybe I think I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, for sure. Nicholas Holt's fantastic. I love this match. I didn't expect Athena to win. JP says what would have been the point of Athena winning. What would they do with Toni then? With Toni? No, Toni's not. I don't think Toni's just. I think if Toni were to drop that belt and be gone for a while, it's because she's taking a vacation, because she's earned it.
But even then, when Toni dropped the belt last time, they turned it into a storyline. She went back in time basically and became Toni Storm again, and went back to like the Indies and like started wrestling like in her old gimmick. And she even then, like she made it work. Like she turned it into. She went back to Australia. Turns out to do promo for Grand Slam Australia. Whether I mean, I don't think that they've just announced they're running Australia again in February. I don't think she's dropping that belt before those Australia shows now. I think like
no, and honestly, at this point, I was talking to Phil off mic the other night about this. That who's there? We keep saying who's there that could beat her. I mean, I'll be straight with you, man. Like at this point, there's so many women in that locker room. You could just heat one of them up. And
I mean,
she could believably beat Toni.
Jamie Hayter just came back.
And
Toni took the belt off Jamie when Jamie got injured. So we got a storyline right there.
Yeah. I totally agree. I enjoyed this match. I think it was really. Do you think they revisit this, or are they going to move on from it? Because Toni tends to do the one and you're done, one and you're done, one and you're done. Are they going to revisit this, you think?
I don't know. I think so I was literally watching Dynamite last night, me and my partner, and I said, like, what do you think to do with Athena now that she's lost the belt, or she'd lost the title match, and or who do you reckon is going to take the belt out? And we were talking about the title pictures anyway, and she said, oh no, what about Athena to take the TBS title off Mercedes eventually? I think that's maybe a bet. I think she's got to do something with I think she can't be winning one of these two belts when she's still got the Ring of Honor title, because I think that causes all sorts of problems with the way people view the Ring of Honor title. I think she's got to drop that.
Yep.
Probably to Billy Starks when that whole thing implodes. That'd be the logical choice there, maybe.
Yeah, and I like what you said about the Ring of Honor stuff, because they've already done. I think that brand has been. I'm going to say the word damaged, but I don't mean that it's. I maybe that word's too harsh. I do think it's been dimmed quite a bit, because it just doesn't look like they support the brand all that much, to be honest with you. Like,
but I don't think you can have, say, for example, Athena winning the AEW World Title, and then either because of that relinquishing the Ring of Honor one, that would damage it, or also just carrying it around as like a sort of secondary trinket.
It's a secondary prop. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I'm not with that. I'm with you. I think something needs to happen first. She needs to drop that belt, and then let's get her on the main roster all the time. That'd be fine.
Like have Billy Starks beat her at a big show, maybe Final Battle. Hey, that's coming up. It's literally called Final Battle.
It's true.
And then that's Athena's send off. Then as she graduates, I hate that word, graduates back up to main roster to AEW, and Billy then is the woman in Ring of Honor, like the final boss.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I'd really be okay with that. Let's see, kids. We got 2 matches left. Then we're going to start our weekend. Hangman Adam Page defeating MJF to retain the AEW World Championship. I didn't care for all the shenanigans at the end with the near fall and stuff. I think they thought they were adding drama to it. I kind of felt like, I don't know if you need all this, but these 2 guys worked their butts off and delivered. What'd you think of this?
So first of all, in the arena with the crowd, we bought all of this. Like the crowd bit on everything, absolutely everything. Whether it was the false finish, the foot on the rope, Mark Briscoe coming out, Hangman hitting MJF with first of all Hangman kicking out of the contract shot, MJF getting hit with the contract, because it all. I can understand if it's not your cup of tea, and I can understand if you thought it was overbooking, and I can understand if you thought it maybe spoiled the end of the match. Totally get that. But it was all earned, because don't forget, part of the reason MJF was in this position was because he beat Mark Briscoe when the ref didn't see his foot on the rope.
Well done. See,
and this time.
This is another reason why I want to have you on, as we said before, because you were there, and you're giving a perspective of, hey, Tom, I know that's how it looked, but the crowd, we were into it because of this, and this. See, that makes sense to me.
Because there was literally, when the 3 count happened, like the crowd it was just an audible shock. Like there was just a vacuum of noise in the building, like, because we were literally I say everyone. My girlfriend's a big MJF fan. It's fine. We're working through it.
Does love conquer all? Be honest.
But like everyone wanted Hangman to win. Like, the crowd were fired up for him. We were so into him. And it's his first big defense. Like, he had the rematch with Mox, okay. His first pay-per-view defense. Like, no way he's going to lose the belt. They do the 3 count, and oh my God, you could hear a pin drop just for a second. And then everyone just sort of works it out, and it's like, they didn't ring the bell.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Straight away, everyone's like, the bell didn't ring, the match hasn't finished. Because Bryce, like, literally passes out before he can ring the bell.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really clever little detail. And that's what I like about. I mean, I'm not defending. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you think it's overbooked, fine, fair enough.
Sure.
But even when they do stuff like this, like, I don't know how. Again, I don't know what was said on commentary, so I don't know if they made it plainly obvious. But as a fan in the building, you have to put it together in your head and go, hang on, this has happened because this has happened. And you have to pay attention, and you have to use your intelligence and go, wait a minute, he didn't ring the bell, he's passed out. And now Mark Briscoe's come out because MJF screwed him. So now he's coming out to even the odds. And now MJF goes to move the foot because Hangman left his foot on the rope.
Yep.
And that's when Bryce wakes up and sees the foot, and he calls off the finish. And like, all right, it's a bit convoluted, but it's wrestling, man. We said this a couple of weeks ago. Like, an Irish whip ruins the business. So, you know, if you're talking about lack of believability, then, you know, that bus left the station a long time ago.
All that, I like the way you put that. And, you know, MJF being the smarmy, you know, I almost had him and I was robbed. I'm like, this coming from you, right? I mean, it makes a lot of sense because I'm going to tell you, when that 3 count happened, and I agree with you, the bell didn't ring and I totally got it. But I sat there and I thought, all right, they could still play this the other way. But, buddy, if they put that bet on Max, I don't know what we're doing. I don't understand and I love Max, but I don't understand what we're doing. Like, you know, Page went through all that turmoil to get that title, and you're just going to take it? And, like, if they had it, wouldn't have been the end of the world. But I'm like, man, if they do this, that's a sign that someone, I don't know. But I'm glad they didn't go that route. I mean, it kind of feels like the next time Page defends, I'm not saying the next time Page defends, it needs to be a flat out squash or something. But I don't want to see shenanigans every time. Do you know? And this is just one match, right?
Yeah, I mean, but in fairness, this is more of an MJF thing than a Hangman and Page thing.
That's fair.
And this is why I think Max's title reign wore a bit thin. Because when he does this in every match, when he's the champion, it happens all the time.
All the time.
But when he's the challenger and he doesn't win, it's just a one-off, isn't it? It's like this is a particular like obstacle that because it literally, like, this was the first test. Like, MJF said to him, look, I'm going to get you DQ'd because you can't handle your emotions. I'm going to get you counted out because you're not disciplined enough to keep it in the ring. And to be fair, and then at the end of the day, I'm just going to cheat, and I'm better at cheating than you are, and I'm going to win by cheating, and I'm going to tell you that, and you can't stop me because I'm really good at it.
I'm better at cheating than you are. That's good. I like that.
So it was almost like Hangman had to like overcome this like sort of particular set of challenges. Like, he's going to have different challenges. Like, he's probably going to wrestle Kenny Omega, and that's going to be a totally different challenge. That's going to be a gut check. That's going to be a, can you go with Kenny? Because he's still one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's probably going to have to wrestle Takeshita at some point, and that's going to be a technical gut check. Like, Takeshita's going to hit you really hard in the face with his big old knee, and have you got the stones to take it? You know what I mean?
And I think Page should pin both of them.
Oh yeah. But you can't just have. You've got to show the facets of the champion and show that he can win in different scenarios.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And also,
they did a really good job with him on. I know how his last title ended was controversial, but they did a really good job setting it up. Like, his first defense was Lance Archer in a death match, and that was a very different match to some of the other ones he was having later on down the line. To the Adam Cole match, for example, which was, you know, a work rate match, which was just go.
Yeah, for sure.
I would love Fernando. I would love Mark Briscoe next. I think that if Hangman says, as a thank you and as a sort of mark of respect, to give Mark Briscoe a match, because Mark Briscoe deserves. I've made my peace. Mark Briscoe's never going to win the AEW World title. Like, he ain't that guy. Eddie Kingston's never going to win the AEW World title. I've made my peace with that. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. I've made my peace with the fact that he's never going to win the big one. But I just want to see one time Mark Briscoe in the main event of an AEW pay-per-view for the world title.
I'd be more than okay with that.
And I think him and Hangman could beat the absolute bejesus out of each other. And we can do the buckets of blood. We can do, you know.
And Honestly, I still don't think Jericho should have beat Briscoe for that RH World title. I don't know why
No,
that even happened. I mean, yeah, I don't understand that. But this was a solid. I If not for Ospreay going out, would this have been the main event?
no. They
You
were
think?
never going to not do that cage because just because of the logistics of it. I think they had to do that cage match last
Ah,
because there was so much detritus around the ring afterwards.
oh my God. When I saw him trying to run around the ring, and I'm like, I don't think you get. Are you gonna fit? That's.
But you know what? I'm gonna give all the credit in the world to Max in this match because he knew exactly what role he had to play in this, and he played it to perfection.
When they're so sweaty that the white tape on their wrists are brown from blood and wet, and he's exhausted. You're like, that's a good wrestling match right there.
Yeah,
You
and
know
you
what I
can say
mean?
the finish was overbooked, and you can say you didn't care for the shenanigans, but
Sure.
goddamn, if you didn't think these two guys put their working boots on, then
They were fantastic. They were fantastic. No doubt about it. 31 minutes and 40 seconds was the second longest match on the card, topped only by the main event, 32
yeah,
minutes, 30 seconds. Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, Darby Allin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay defeating the Death Riders, Claudio and Mox, the Young Bucks, and Gabe Kidd. Lights out, steel cage match. I Go ahead, do this one. What do you think?
So I want to first of all, I want to draw like real special attention to there was a beautiful video package before Ospreay's entrance, which was narrated by his partner Alex Windsor.
Yeah.
It literally made me cry. It was so beautiful. It set me off again just thinking about it. Just saying like she's so proud of him, everything's accomplished. There was a line in there which is like, as long as you're not afraid of what comes next, I'm not afraid of what comes next.
Hmm.
And it was like, and then Will came to the ring, and like Will Ospreay was like bawling his eyes out on his entrance. He was so emotional. I mean, it's making me well up just thinking about it. Like you could even see it without the video screens. You could see it, the emotion all across his face. And then he gets up on top of the cage, and like 18,000 people chanting his name. It was a real special moment. I was real glad I was there for it. It was absolutely phenomenal.
That's great.
Then that was, and then we go to the other end of the spectrum, and we have the Young Bucks run to Mbop by Hansen.
Oh my God. And Kenny jamming out to it was pretty funny.
It's just incredible. It's just like the Young Bucks are, like, as I say, like Faye loves it when they suffer. Again, I know they're like they polarize idiots on the internet, but you can say what you want about the Young Bucks. They are not afraid to take the PISS out of themselves.
Well, and also, as I said earlier about Athena, in a different sort of conversation, you can argue about the Bucks all day, but when that bell rings, the Bucks are turned on. They
go.
On.
They just go.
They still do it. You know what I mean? Like,
and you want to talk about history, Tom? There was a moment in this match where it was the Bucks and the Golden Lovers in the ring, and the crowd just knew. They were just like the murmurs just like washed over the crowd.
Yeah.
That's a callback to a match that happened in New Japan. I'm sure you've seen it. It's my favorite wrestling match of all time.
Oh wow, interesting.
The Bucks.
How
the
far
Golden
back
Lovers.
was that?
God, it was like 2017, maybe 2018.
Yeah,
it was right before AEW started.
Yeah. That sounds about right because AEW started in what
2019.
2019, yeah.
It's the one where it's got the most beautiful finish, but like Kenny gets Matt up for the one-winged angel and he's like hesitating, and Matt like makes him. He like puts his arm down and makes Kenny grab his arm to do it.
Yeah.
It's just if you think the Bucks can't sell and the Bucks can't tell stories, and you're not paying attention, B, you're just blinded by your hatred of them, and C, watch that match and tell me that I'm wrong.
Well, which one always sells the back?
Matt.
Does it matter? Matt? Nothing wrong with Matt's back. Nothing's ever been wrong with Matt's back. That's been a work for years. But they're so good at it that he had everybody believing that, man, maybe something's wrong. There was never anything wrong with his back. There's even rumors, and it's been said to me that this is legit, that this was not copyrighted, that they made that whole thing up. That they never got a cease and desist from WWE. It was just to put the spotlight on them. And I'm like, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? That's not bad right there.
Oh, speaking of cease and desist, sorry. So just to throw it back to the tag match, the tag team title match, there was an F the Revival chant.
Oh my God! Did I miss that?
And
That's really
it got a little smirk off Cash, which was kind of cool.
That's really good. I'll say this about Ibushi in this match, dude. He's back to being in phenomenal shape.
He is good to go. Yeah.
When he came back from injury, it's like a year or whatever it's been. I was like, he's not quite ready. You could tell out of shape was the word. He wasn't quite ready. Do you know what I mean? It was the blood and guts match, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell. He still did great, but like you could tell, that's not really Kota right there. But
he's all right. He's okay. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Claudio absolutely continues to amaze me. Like, the man is in his 40s, right?
Got to be.
He's 44 years old. He has no right to A, look that good, and B, be that good in the ring.
He's just automatic. He looks like he's not even trying hard.
Mm-hmm. And he never breaks a sweat. Like,
no. And I'm sure he's working just as hard in the gym as Kenny or anybody else, and probably spending 4 days out of 7 in the gym, if not 5 or 6. But when he's in the, you're like, it's another day at the office. He just clocks in.
You know what? You could call him into the office 5 minutes before the show starts and be like, "You're going 60 in the main event tonight," and he'd be like, "All right."
Yeah, no doubt. And whoever he's working, he's like, "We'll call it when we get out there," because that's a pro. You know what I mean? No disrespect to all those kids down there in the state of Florida, okay? But tell one of those kids who, I grew up a WWE fan, and now, okay, that's why they signed you. All right, whatever. Like, tell one of those guys, go cut a promo. Where's my notes? Just go cut a promo. And by the way, you're going to work 60, call it in the ring. You know how many of those kids couldn't do that? For real. I don't know. When you're holding people's hands.
So Claudio can do that, and then he can go out on Wednesday and have that match he has with Darby.
Yes. Dude. I love Claudio, man.
And you know what I love him most? He's just having the time of his life. You can tell.
Yeah. You know, I was kind of afraid when Mox turned heel and all this stuff started. I'm like, Claudio's not really saying much. He's just kind of John's shadow. Boy, I hope this doesn't. But man, I don't think it's affected him negatively in the slightest. Do you know what I mean?
I think if anything, he's benefited the most out of the stable. Maybe Marina, but I think Claudio.
Marina, yeah. And by the way, because this just came to me too, back to Daniel, the way they looked at Daniel on Wednesday and Mox was like trying to talk to him and stuff, and the commentators made a big deal about it. Is Daniel joining the Death Riders? That's how it felt.
He's certainly got some things to think about, hasn't he? Because he cut that promo, he cut that little backstage interview saying like, who forgot, who's here, like, who's gonna help me, like, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll see. Well, the cage match, did it live up to your expectations? Did everything work for you here?
Yeah, it was in a way weirdly safe. Like, nothing really very crazy happened, but in a good way, because like a lot of these guys are pretty banged up.
Apart from Darby in his ear and the death-defying dive.
Well, so apparently I didn't realize the Darby ear thing. I think they called that on the fly because I think Darby's earring got ripped out.
Wow.
Because there was a bit in the match, he handcuffed himself to Mox, didn't he? And they were doing some moves together and stuff. And I think the handcuff the chain caught his earring on one of the suplexes or something. So then they just called it on the spot. Darby was just like, "There's a hole in my ear, stick something in it."
Oh my God, dude.
So Mox like, "I've got a massive fork that I can put in that ear," because of course Moxie's got a massive fork hidden somewhere in the arena.
That's the funniest thing ever. John's like, "I got a fork. Let me just get a fork." It's like, sure, John.
I'll put something in your ear, man. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, so John, tonight you're working so-and-so, you're working whoever. And, all right, cool. I got a fork. And they're like, "John, you don't need a fork. No silverware tonight. No cutlery, John. Just go work the match." That's funny. Is it safe to say that maybe, I've said this before and I had people raise their eyebrows at me. I'm not saying he's intentionally doing it this way, but I kind of feel like when it's all said and done, are we going to think of Mox as the modern day version of Terry Funk, a guy who could be world champion and be believable and wrestle, but could also take it there and also be believable and be dangerous and be threatening? Do you know what I mean?
First of all, I think Moxley would secretly really love that comparison.
I do too.
But I think he would very publicly never claimed to want to be that.
100%.
But I think absolutely. I think because obviously one of the things about Funk is that although he could bleed and he could brawl and he could hit you with a piece of barbed wire, he could also go.
Yeah,
And people forget that.
it's true.
Like man could wrestle. Like and like I've listened to a lot of interviews with deathmatch wrestlers, like guys like Ricky Shane Page, Moxley himself, and he says like whenever he was training, they'd always say like he'd go to school and be like, I want to learn how to be a deathmatch wrestler. And they go, okay, but first we need to teach you how to be a wrestler.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like any loser can hit someone with a light tube, or like jump through a pane of glass, but no, you do it properly. You learn the basics, you learn safe working, and then you add the deathmatch stuff on top, and that's what separates people like Moxley. Because like again, like you go on the internet and you find people who are idiots who will complain that Moxley's like they'll use cornetisms and they'll say he's a mud show guy who just throws light tubes at people and bleeds for a living and that's all he's good for. Man can work. If you can't see that, then what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand that criticism either.
Your man's been PWI top ranked wrestler of the year. He's been number one.
I like how people who are only watch WWE will point out the blood and stuff now and go, look what's happening. I'm like, do y'all not know he had a career before he ever got signed to WWE? Do y'all not know he was doing this stuff before he ever got there? What are you talking about? Like, I don't get that, man. I don't get that. Tribalism is insane to me.
But I will say, so Moxley, especially post-title, my God, I think he's back to his absolute best. He's firing. I love him so much now in this role, like where he's like, he doesn't have the pressure of like having the title matches. Like he can just cut loose and do the silly stuff.
Was that belt an albatross for him at some point?
I don't think it was necessarily an albatross. I just don't think. I think it like sort of shackled him a little bit. Like he had to wrestle like the serious guys, didn't he? And have like the serious title matches. He could do a little bit of bleeding here and there, and I'm not saying that's all he can do, but it just feels like he's got the creative freedom back in his matches now to just do like what he wants. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've said this before the past couple of weeks. I think the company's better for John having been there.
And I agree with Tony Khan I think it was in the pre-show press conference, not the post one. He said like because they asked him about Moxley and like not being the champion anymore, and he said, and again I didn't really enjoy Moxley's reign that much while it was happening, and I think that was kind of the point. But again, we've had this discussion. You can't book something that's unintentionally bad. You can't book something intentionally bad and claim that it's good because it's not. It's still bad. But Tony said like every time John's been world champion, after his title reign's finished, the company's been in a stronger position than it was.
Oh, I like that.
I think that makes sense. And I think you can accept that Moxley's reign was a little weird and a little bit restrictive and a little bit sort of suffocating, but at the same time, we appreciate what's come after it a bit. And I'm not saying you should make a bad product so that you can then make a good product.
Sure,
because that's silly. But I can understand the sort of you've got to have the night to have the day. If you know what I mean. You can't just be all babyface paradise where the good guys win all the time and they get everything they want, and because there's no drama. Like you say, there's no drama there, is there? So
yeah, it's fair. Well, I really enjoyed this match. I thought everybody delivered. I'm glad everybody.
Particular highlight was Kota Ibushi. Well, the particular highlight was several wrestlers, including Ibushi, telling Tanahashi not to go up a ladder.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm going to jump, and he's like, no, you're not.
No, Tana, come back down. I'm glad Tana's okay. Every time that dude works now, I'm like, please. He had a good G1 too, but like, don't make Tana run down the ramp. Just be careful. You know what I mean?
Oh man, so I'll tell you a little bit of So he worked his last sort of like sanctioned match in the UK, because this was billed as his last UK match, but it was an unsanctioned match. He worked his last sanctioned match at Red Pro, and it was like a 10-man tag, and it was like real safe. He didn't have to do an awful lot. There was a period of about 5 minutes where he just lay in the ring by himself while everyone else brought around the outside. So maybe his knees weren't doing too well.
Yeah.
But afterwards, like Shibata gave him a big hug, and that was really nice because like they, obviously they were like guys together at one point, weren't they? And then Shibata left and whatnot. And then everyone sort of like give him his flowers and stuff, and then they gave him a microphone, and he cut like a very not a longest promo, but he just said thanks to all the fans, and he said like it was really simple. He just said, for me the end of my career is coming up, but until then I'm going to try as hard as I can.
I love that guy. I say those things, but I don't want him to go. You know what I mean? I really don't want him to go.
It was just so simple. It was so beautiful. And it's like, yeah, we all know your body's falling apart, mate. But we still love you. Like, I don't care if your sling blades like take 5 minutes to happen.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll watch them all night. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, like I said, he had a good G1, because he always leaves it all in the ring for sure, which I can't be mad at that.
And like it was probably the same in this main event. It was probably the same in Red Pro because both matches ended the same way. He hit the high fly flow, and those guys were lining up in the back to claim that they're the ones going to take that finisher.
Yeah, yeah.
Because everybody wants to take the finisher off Tanner, don't they? Everyone wants to be there to be saying, "He hit it on me."
Just like everybody wants JR to call their match. It's kind of the same thing, right? Like, I'll let Tana do that to me, no problem. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's just to say you took it. Yeah, I agree with that totally. Well, kids, there's your whole show. We did the whole thing for you.
Oh, do you want to just talk briefly about the post-match angle?
Oh, so yeah, they had to put the lid on it, or cap it off by taking out Ospreay. And I mean, you're just feeding into a Death Riders versus Ospreay gimmick down the road, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so it kind of felt a little weird because we had the swerve right. We didn't talk about it. We had the swerve right off after Wardlow came back. Sorry, you forgot about that.
Forgot about Wardlow.
Yeah, I mean, how could you forget about Wardlow? Jesus.
Right.
Look, he's in the Don Callis family now. This is his last throw of the dice. If he can't get himself over here, he's a lost cause.
I mean, I submit he was never hotter, and unless we're talking about when he turned on MJF, he was red hot, and then they couldn't sustain it or he couldn't sustain it. It was both. I don't know what happened.
They gave him that stupid powerbomb gimmick, and it just ruined him because it was boring.
Boring. No one cared about it.
No, but hey, Don Callis gets people over, and like, say what you like about him, he gets people over.
I can't argue with that. I like the idea of them calling it the Don Callis family. I like it's sort of an allusion to Bobby Heenan and his family in some weird way. And
he looks like $1 million. Put him and Lance Archer in a tag team and let them murder people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
Or him and Josh Alexander and let them murder people.
So do you think that the attack at the end was warranted? You think they should have took it that far, or just let the match end the way it did and then just say that? Because we all knew Will was going to go out. It's a pro wrestling thing to explain an injury, right? So
yeah, it felt weird because they did it to Swerve as well, and we knew going into this that Swerve and Will were taking time off. Like everybody knew, like even like the casual fans knew. It was all over the wrestling news. And then they did the Swerve angle where he hurt his knee, and then they did the Will one as well. And it was weird because like Will was already kind of saying bye to the fans in the ring.
Yeah.
Because he was like literally in the ring waving and saying thank you, and we were all chanting thank you to Will because we knew he was going away.
Yeah, for sure.
But I suppose you can't let a little bit of heat get away from you, can you?
No, well, I mean, as long as the plan is they're going to circle back to Mox and Will when Will comes back, I think it's fine. But along the way, what if circumstances change? You need to change John's face for some reason. I mean, you can.
I mean, heaven forbid, what if something happens and John's not there when Will comes back?
And you could always pivot to somebody else, but they're sowing the seeds for sure here,
Yeah. Well, they're sort of doing this with Darby now, aren't they? Where they're having him like sort of work his way up through the ranks. It's like a video game. You got to beat the first level boss, then you got to beat you got to get up. It'll be Gabe Kidd next by the look of how Dynamite ended.
Yeah, that's good call. Good call. Yeah.
And Mox is like the final boss at the end. But yeah, it was weird because like the show was like a real fun show, and then everyone knew that Will was hurt already, and then you end on a big bummer injury angle where Will gets like stretched out.
Did it take the wind out of the sails of the crowd, do you think, or what? It was the last match?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. A lot of people just left because it was late. People have to get trains, and we only just got our last train out of there.
Yeah. Wow.
We only just got back to our hotel. Like we didn't get home till just gone midnight, and we left at like just gone 10:30. It was weird. I mean, we did have some great little moments in there. We had Ibushi punching the cage door and hurting his hand, and then later on he tried to run and knock the cage door open. He just knocked himself out.
That's really good. I'm glad everybody.
Also, all the babyfaces forgot how to climb the cage somehow.
Yeah, I know, right? It's an awkward. I think it's that bit at the top that just makes it awkward because it's. Yeah, I'm glad everybody's okay. Let's put it that way, because I'm looking at it right now and it's.
I love how again, and maybe this was just the storytelling they demonstrated, because at the start of the match when the entrances happened, Will's the only person who climbs up the cage and then climbs back down the other side.
Did you see any holes in the cage in the mesh, by the way?
No. I mean, I
That's
probably wasn't close enough to spot that. But throughout the match, Moxley, Yuta, and Ospreay are the only people who climb the cage.
yeah. I
Oh,
don't
and
see
Gabe.
holes.
And Gabe and Darby, but Gabe and Darby are dead because they go flying through like a
Yes.
trillion tables.
Dead. Yeah. There's no
So
holes.
by the end
That's
of the
the problem.
match, the only person on the babyface team who they've shown as having climbed the cage is Ospreay, and he's the one getting like murdered in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that there's no holes. That's insane. Whose freaking idea was that? Yeah,
Ospreay climbed it like it was a ladder. He just scurried right up it.
but he's a freak. He's a freak of nature, right? Will Ospreay is. Tom ain't climbing that. I don't know if Tom could climb it with holes and help. Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't climb that if you gave me a winch.
If you put a machete in a man's hand and had him chase me up the cage, I don't know if I could get up that cage. I'd try. It's like, well, if he just gets my foot, that'll be fine. I can live on just the one foot. You know what I mean? I'll get up eventually.
But yeah, so we had the ops come out as well, and like eventually they raised the cage up, and yeah, the amount of people I don't know if it came across on, I don't know how much of it you saw on TV, but the amount of people who were chanting for Eddie Kingston.
Oh yeah, dude, people want him back, man.
Which he's my favorite wrestler of all time. That warm cockles my heart. I mean, if he'd have come back, I would have just been, I would have been intolerable. I would have been, oh my god, I wouldn't have slept.
I don't know if he's cleared. I don't even know what the word cleared means, but I won't get into it. We've been on the air for 2.5 hours.
We talked about this the other day. I just wish he comes back and it's a surprise and it's not recorded 6 weeks before it happens.
I don't want to know. I just do it. I don't want to know about it. Well, kids, like I said, we've been on there 2.5 hours. We're not going to do a open floor today because it's like 4 a.m. for Ben, so we're going to let him get some rest.
Hey, it's only 11:30.
It's only, dude.
I haven't got to be up for work till 7 a.m., so it's okay.
Well, see, we're going to go back to that chat and tell Joe and Jay how they done let us down, and you stepped up. So, kids, I'll plug this for the two of us. Check out Bear Mode, a podcast review of the Bear. Season 1, episode 2 just dropped. Brand new episodes every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're plowing through the show. And we're probably going to record this coming Monday if everybody's available.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, we're having a hell of a time recording them. It's so much fun.
So much fun. Hopefully it translates on the tape or on the recording, because we're really enjoying it, and we thank everybody for checking it out.
You can tell it's going really well as well. There's 4 of us on the show, and no one talks over anyone, and everyone sort of the sort of natural cadence of the conversation just flow. I mean, I'm plugging this thing, but the natural cadence of the conversation flows really well. It's really natural. Everyone, like, I mean, you do a great job of like directing it and sending it to people and stuff, but
thank you.
The conversation just flows great, and everyone has a really nice time. And I never go away feeling like, oh, that was hard work, or oh, that was really tricky, and I didn't really have anything to talk about. I always come away just feel it's like 4 of your friends in a bar having a chat about the TV they watched the night before.
I agree. I totally agree. And I've said it before, you guys make me look good, so I appreciate everybody. You guys are awesome. But no, I feel the way you do. Like every time we do our thing, it's just I believe you have to have what's the word? It's escaping me. Cohesion, chemistry. You got to have chemistry. And like, I never recorded with Joe in my life until we did the first episode of the TED show. And suddenly we're good. But like, you know what I mean? So I feel like you really need to know how to do this. If you know how to do this and you run into someone else that knows how to do this, you're probably going to be okay. But I've been on the air with folks here and there, and I got to be careful, who don't really know how to do this. And that's okay. But like when they carry themselves like they do, that's kind of, I don't really like that too much. So I'm like, yeah, you're not really awesome at this. And while that's okay, I don't think I can do this with you again, because do you know what I mean?
It's just hard work.
That's it. Like you said earlier, it's just so much harder. And by the way, everyone should take a face plant in gummy bears in the pro wrestling ring. I'm sorry, but that was funny. Okay.
Yeah, just a final thing. Yes, there was a little vignette before the show where Matt Jackson threatened one of the backstage guys, and he gave him a bag, and he was like, "Go and get the most dangerous thing you can find in London and put it." And I was like, "What's it gonna be?" And it was gummy bears. And it's like, so that was harking back to an old PWG spot they did like years and years and years ago.
Mm-hmm. I like how when Kenny put him in his mouth, y'all went, oh, like it was nails or something. That was awesome.
Yeah. There was a couple of chants. We chanted like it was thumbtacks. Yeah.
That was awesome. All right, I got to quit getting distracted. Plug your shows, and then let's get out of here, Ben.
The big one at the moment, the one that we're all like loving is Bear Mode. Check that out. Tom's said it. I'll say it. We're having a great time. It's one of my favorite shows. We've all worked in customer service. Me, Joe, Jay have all done hospitality. Tom's done retail. So we've all got we throw in a few war stories here and there to sort of pad out our experiences, which is real good fun. You can check out Untitled Wrestling Podcast. I actually wasn't on. We've just done our Forbidden Door review. I wasn't on it, but we had Faye, Jay. We've picked up a new member, Ollie. You'll have to meet him at some point. He runs
nice.
He runs a lot of board gaming things. He's a real cool guy. He was down there watching it with us. We had another Scouse friend. We've got all the Liverpool fan in there now. Neil from another podcast, Fear the Big Deals. Check them out as well. They're great. He's the one who ordered me the Brody King shirt, so he's a real cool guy. He's an Everton fan, but we let that go. It's not fine. But yeah, check out Untitled Wrestling Podcast. Check out Fear the Big Deals. Check out Damn It Vacant as well, and Hallmark of Greatness, which is Joe's podcast. They're excellent. My partner Sarah, she listens to them when she's working from home, so I hear them quite a lot, and they are muy bueno.
Teamwork, I like it. Teamwork, interpromotional.
And check out your podcast, Tom. I've been jamming to your Spider-Man podcasts with Phil.
Hey man, I appreciate it. We just did Equalizer Part 2, so I'll be putting that one out next week. But yeah, we did the Andrew Garfield. Almost called him Toby Garfield. Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. Those turned out pretty good, but maybe not the movies. But the podcast turned out.
I really liked that he got his little like critical redemption arc in that Marvel film. Like,
I love it. He's such a great dude too. I love that it worked out.
He deserved better than those films. Everyone in those films deserved better than those films.
Even Dennis Leary deserved better than creepy Captain Stacy just looking at him. You know what I mean? Zombie Captain Stacy. I better shut up. Thanks, Tasty, for joining me, man. I appreciate you.
Anytime, dude. Anytime.
Awesome. That was Big Tasty, kids. Tom's looking funky in the box. See that? I'm going to do that stupid mime shtick where I'm doing that. If you're listening to all your viewers, you don't know what's going on. Kids, we're going to get out of here. I got to thank everybody for hanging out. We were on the air for a long time. I've been reminded of how long we've been on the air, okay? But it's all good. We had fun. We hope you guys had fun as well. I appreciate you kids very much hanging out with us and subscribing to the shows. Thanks, of course, to Big Tasty. Remember, Bear Mode, a podcast review of the Bear, Tom Clark 6M podcast, Two Nations Under Ted Lasso podcast, Tom Clark reviews on the YouTube, and I think that's it. And I got a new podcast coming up soon, too, actually. Where do I find the time? I couldn't answer that question. Kids, I appreciate you very much. Everybody do me a favor. Have a great weekend. All right? And we'll see you next time. Again, thanks for following and hanging in there with us. And do me a favor, kids. Have a great weekend. Go watch you some pro wrestling. Go to your local shows. Support your local companies, kids, wherever you can. That's all I got for you, kids. I appreciate you very much. And we'll see you next time.